Working on it.
You mean I did?
I think it's up. Yep, it's back up.
Do they still stay there watching it when it's back up?
Unless they're lurkers.
Oh, does it die? Like when it, You are back! I don't have anything on my side, though.
We also fixed the stuttering, apparently.
Dashed it! Oh. Okay, so you can tell me what you guys think. So, I think I will be able to get this one done. Let's take a little focus here. So they don't have categories. It's kind of like whatever I get. Crud. Let me bring it up because I hate to read while you guys are out there. Has anybody ever entered it before? Their paint contest. So my understanding is that you can put one miniature, like you can put as many miniatures as you want, but then they're going to choose the best of all of your miniatures, and then if you were considered, and they will judge on that one. They have an open, I think they have a a diorama. I remember they have a diorama, an open, and I forgot what the third thing was. And it does not have to be made by Reaper. Now, I don't have really anything Reaper except for King Rat. That's this guy here. And honestly, I don't really feel like King Rat is something that's going to take any prizes anytime soon. I mean, not in something with as many people as going and as many people as will be entering. I don't feel like King Rat is what I would consider maybe my intermediate level painting. Definitely not competition level painting. Okay, he was kind of a learning experience for me as well. So now I have the bust, and if I get her finished, then I have Baby. I really don't know that they will even appreciate Baby. You know what I mean? I mean, he's more appreciated from a Warhammer standpoint. Hello, Danny. Hello. Baby actually did win a prize locally. He won me a kind of by default gift certificate, I think. Yes, Busy Builder, it is. And welcome and thank you for the follow, by the way. That most certainly is. He's got himself a little Tau friend that he's playing with. Hello, Paul. How are you doing? See, now if Paul was judging, he would like Baby. That's the Tau's gun. So this is so Baby was an option, but the one that Geek was thinking would be a good choice is the Nightbringer. The Nightbringer is definitely more of a display piece than he is a game piece. It's almost... Yes, Paul, that is true. Paul is right. This green skin started on a stream with Paul B. It is. You are right, Paul. That's where he started. You see, and Geek Gore really likes that. You don't get there's no judging on the base for it when you put it in the open. So it's just on the character. I would be happy if they even noticed and had something to say, like to critique or anything. But he's done, it's a special technique. I don't use it very often. He's also using inks. And he's a multimedia kind of guy. I did mine a little different and made the fabric almost growing from his, because for the life of me, I could not figure out why they didn't end the wrap on the material. And it looked like it was coming out of his belly button. So I went ahead and painted it that way. So he is a little different. So Geek said that he thought that this would be a good choice. He's very, very fond of it. And that was the other thought too, Gore, was he is unique. So something that isn't something that, you think other people will be doing. So, and they don't have, so if I were to enter him, then I don't have anything for the diorama. And then there's a third, and for the life of me, I can't remember what that was. Hello, Kraken. It looks like he might be, yes. This is the one that Geek thought was going to be a good choice of what we have here. Ordnance? What is that, Iffy? Ooh, tell me, are you reading it? Yeah, so he is different than what you see a lot. So Geek thought that if nothing else, maybe they will have something to say to me about it, and I can get some critique. I mean, that's like tanks and shit. So if I could never finish this tank in time. Is it judges or public voting? Judges, Kraken, judges. And the open, so the open is anything you want, any company that makes anything, like just anything. Then they have a whole nother one that's where it's the diorama. So it's a scene and all the stuff that goes to the diorama. And then the last one there, if he says, is machines. You see, now he actually classifies as a machine, doesn't he? Or is there an orc in there?
No, a toad.
Oh.
So like tanks and heavy ordnance.
Oh, okay, okay. Really, Iffy? Is that what you're reading? Oh, well, then it's worth it, isn't it? Thank you very much. This is a combination, Gore, of metallic rubbing, ink glazing, powder pigments. So when I first saw this particular model, I was in love. You know, the other one that's Geek's got over there on the shelf is that, what do you guys call it? Cetan? Is that right, guys? Yeah? This is done. Oh, you have to, it's a thing I'm going to, Kraken. Well, I'm not having a contest. I'm going to ReaperCon in the United States. Yeah, and I'm taking it with me. Because a lot of people love Baby too, but people are just like, oh, wow, when they see this. So I thought, okay, well, I'll take that. I don't know if I'll finish the bust, and for sure that tank's not going to be done. That's a beast. I mean, it's an impulsor, so it's smaller than a lot of tanks, but oh my God, guys, if you've never painted a tank, which I never have, I don't want to paint it under pressure. Yeah, I would like to do that one someday. Busy Builder, I would. Let's see, you believe there are manufacturer awards as well. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Oh, wow. What if GW were there? Okay, well, then that would be, okay. Oh, thank you for Iffy, thank you for telling me all of this. Oh, did you? It taught you a lot. Yeah, so thank you for telling me that. Wow, I wish I would have known that. Honestly, I didn't even think about doing it until some of the community said, yo, you should do it, you should do it. Let me see. I'm just trying to think if I have anything else by any manufacturers. I do actually have one by Wavy that's by another manufacturer. I was going to ask him if he wanted me to take it with me and enter it for him. They say you are not allowed to enter anything anybody else painted, but what if the person can't make it to the United States and you're entering it for them? So I was going to ask Wavy if he wanted me to take the shark and see if they would let me enter it. You remember Wavy's shark that he made? I mean, I have this one. That's made by another company. I guarantee you that if they're there, they'll pick that one. They're all worked up about that. So I was going to give this one to them, but then I realized this was the first chibi I completed, so I decided no, they're getting a different one. And then there was this one that Wavy made. This is, I don't know who this is made by, but I was going to ask him if he wanted me to take it with me and see if they would let me enter for him. Right, I know, right, Agu? It's just amazing. So if I take the light off, you can see the stripes. Look at those beautiful blue stripes on his pants. He's so cool. Let's see. Depends on what monos are there. Oh, I know Dark Sword isn't going to make it this year. Okay. They said, yeah, Bombshell, right. I remember that. Reaper, Midnight Heroes is at Reaper every year, Iffy, so I know they're going to be there, actually. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers most of the guys that are 100% done. There's probably a few more little ones around, but not anything that I feel would make a very, big impression. I'm sure some folks are going to be painting like monster-ass dragons. I mean, if I were, what I should do is finish the dragons and then take them next year. So I'll be ready for it next year. I just kind of, this is, I believe that as 2021 comes to a all done, that we're going to have a lot better 2022. So I'm going to put Baby back up, you guys, because, well, actually, and just in case somebody shows up, we'll leave Baby over here in case we get some raiders that want to see some sexy work. Yes, this actually. So, and actually, you guys can find the co-stream if you go back there and you look. Which reminds me, Paul B, we were going to do a regroup in the new year to do some green skin. We're doing our co-streaming a little bit differently now. I even do a little posting in the Patreon now sometimes, but this was and I'm ready to do another session with you, just to, so you'll notice that what I did is I tied it all in, right? This was a lesson that the cold skin with the warm skin. And then you'll notice that the arm turning to stone, right? I went in there and it just wasn't working for me because there was no pieces coming off of it. It needed pieces. So I went in there and I altered it to get the arm good like that. Then I had to do the fur a few times before I got it just the way that I wanted it. But we'll just keep him out in case somebody pops in that wants to see a little work. You never know. You never know. And then, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Foggenstein, you can load in the completed work in the Chibi channel. You can load all your work in there. I'm going to go through, I'm going to organize it, and I'm going to clean it up because we have some things we need to let go of. That just channels that just kind of don't get used. People said, oh, do this channel, do that channel. Now we have, like, I don't know, 150 channels, and there's just too many in there. Also, did you guys notice, did you notice I'm one of the, I don't know how many Discords you're part of, but I have, like, I'm part of like 50. Did you know that I'm one of the few Discords anymore that has the shameless promoting part still left up and running? Everybody check it out. The one where everybody puts their stream when they go live. Everybody check it out. I went back into some of the ones where I used to put mine and they don't have one anymore. I gotta move the thing, you guys. It's driving me back. So I'm gonna be wiggling all day. Make you guys think I have to go pee or something. Arf. Oh, did you, Cricket? They're missing from the ones that I used to do it in. I don't know. Maybe it's just the ones that I think like over half of mine don't even have it anymore. I mean, I don't use it that often, but okay, good. And we're about to throw down the palette. So we're going to stay with natural colors, okay? And interesting that Paul B is here. We're going to do a little green skin on her. One of the things that I do want to build is I decided against metal. Okay. Well, no, I have quite a few of those, but yeah, and even then, I don't know. I think it's not as popular as it used to be. Really not as popular as it used to be. So today is share in the Discord today, you guys. If you raid, then if you've raided, please feel free to pop something into the love gallery. And I do have a question. Did the car thing ever get fixed? The Reese car thing, did it ever get fixed?
Yeah, now that it's not twitching.
I mean, did you ever find out what that was? Like why we couldn't have it and what it stemmed from, or did it matter?
OBS overloading the graphics card.
We got a party coming up. Woo! Don't do it. I'm not having it now. I'm talking to my miniatures. I'm telling my miniatures who's boss. Just in case you guys didn't know who was the captain around here. Sometimes those minis like to. All right, we'll get a palette going. Now today I do need to remember, anybody, probably Iffy, got my Instagram? Make sure you guys, we will have a rebranding party. I want you guys to keep your eyes open for that, all right? Now, not right this minute. Got to get to the ReaperCon. Got to get back from the ReaperCon. But let's see. We are probably looking at September. Oh, what did you do? I wondered if you had my Instagram up and you could tell me there was 4 things. Yes, party, Snick. We're going to have a party. Do you want to come to our party, Snick? You can come to our party. There's 4 things I named on my shout out, right, on Instagram. And that's what we're doing. Bone, leather, and 2 other things. Vlog, you are naughty. You distracted me. I'm sorry, you guys. I just totally got distracted. Do you see? Yes. Yes. You see how that happened? Did you see what it did? How do you like that? Need an orange. So that yellow, boom. Take that yellow, mix that yellow with a tiny bit of red. And underneath the bottom part where it touches, where the black and the yellow touches, a tiny line. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, I mean, you drew all the attention right in there, whoop, to the face. Very well done. Also, I like the fact that you used muted, desaturated colors for the apron. I'm sorry, you guys. Totally got sidetracked. It's all Froggy. It's all Bog's fault. Blame him. Bog did it. Put that right there in my eyeball. In my eyeball. Bog did. All right. So let's see what we've got here. Let's not put our coffee cup there because otherwise we're going to end up with whipping cream on. Oh yeah. There's that. I knew that was going to happen with you, girl. Those little knives. I'm breaking the whole thing off. What's going to happen if I don't? It sounds crazy. So, what's going to happen if I don't is it's going to get lost. It's going to fall and then it's going to get lost, like so many little pieces. So I'm just breaking it off and then we'll go back and fix it later. Let me make sure I got you guys scrolled into position. You are, most assuredly. Excellent, excellent. All right, so let's see. We are gonna need a little bit of overbrushing. So I have this terrible bent handle little brush that I use for that I found. I had to go dig some of this stuff out. This one, I like this one. That one was a little bit of a disappointment. Oh, I hate to say that. This one might work. Let's try that one. See what it says. Okay. All right. Now we are using the chimeras on this, right? Okay. I know I probably say that really, really funny. And the chimeras seem to get along okay with the golden retarder medium. But honestly, I can't beat the one that I really like, which is the Badger. So I'm thinking about maybe trying mixing it up myself and see what happens. See, maybe it'll be delicious. Well, I'm not going to eat it, but all right. So we are going to, got some leather we got to focus on and some bone. That's today. And then also some more shadow because we're building, I know volumes is one of them, contrast. So contrast being, we're going to have like contrast between like say leather and skin, right? And contrast between the really light colors of the bone. So we'll come in, we'll get some colors for those bones. Now bone, I do feel like, whoop, let's see, hold on. I do feel like we could probably, I do have, and you guys probably have it too, the Bone White by Vallejo, but instead of using that, let's take a peek at the milk bottle, right? Remember that one that I love by Cuttlefish? Let's take a look at that. We got anything tagged on us today by chance, Geek?
Yep.
Pardon?
Yes.
Oh. Would Cuttlefish paint be one of them? Okay. Let me see. What I did with my Cuttlefish is I put them all in a nice big tray because I got tired of all the little boxes and everything, so I put them in a big tray. The only thing I don't like about the big tray is that it needs a bolster. So I brought some towels down here, which used to be my face towels. I decided I'm having these in my studio now, and I feel like this will make the perfect bolster. There we go. They do. I think cutting a piece of foam until there's no more. I have all of their paint. So I either have to put another type of paint in there. There we go. That's much better. Or I put another type of paint in there. Or a smaller basket perhaps just to fit these. The boxes, yes. In fact, in general, we are trying to eliminate boxes in general so we've moved so many times. I've been keeping things in boxes for years. And so we're trying to get rid of boxes in general. So I'm starting to take things out of boxes. We recycle the boxes to mail people things if they're small. The other ones we cut up and we get rid of. Okay, so I believe I'm missing a paint. Let's hope it's not milk bottle. Okay, so I'm going to use these for the glazing colors. I'm going to use mostly the Chimera for the base. Now, what I do now, I'm pretty sure that that is the one that's missing. Look at that milk bottle. See, it's on my desk. That's why. So I also am going to be getting some little acrylic. I want to show them to you guys. So here's what I'm getting. I'm actually going to go to Typhoon for, but what I have is I have these that go in the bottom of like a portable studio, so that if I'm working on a particular project, I can just load the colors that I'm using in the slot. I tried like a little 4-color, 5-color, 6-color. Ended up being 16 colors was like as few as I could travel with. But I actually believe that I probably need to be honest with you. So, but right now this just has my clear Reapers in it. And I'm going to be ordering some of the Typhoon. Oh, some of the Typhoon because the Typhoon is the largest number of paints for the smallest footprint on your desk. And so those are probably just going to be the ones that are right in front of me. And then these are going to go into a big circular dispenser. So the milk bottle is going to be a really good color for bone. It's a kind of a very light vanilla. Hello, Tashi, how you doing? Oh, doing good. We are actually going to be working up a little green skin here. We're choosing some colors to do that with. We're going to need to glaze some purple in the shadows on the green skin. I'm really liking the Femme Fatale Violet, which will go really well. We can bring the highlights up with the milk bottle. Now for the bone, we're gonna need like that color that's that kind of brownish, icky gray, you know, that they get as they get older. And these guys have got a few colors that will suit that. I'm kind of liking the olive green. They've got one called Dead Scale. It's not quite gray enough. Let's see. Here we go. This looks really good. What is this called? This is called Ethereal Gray. Let me give it a mix, you guys, and then let's see where it gets us. Right, I took the paint mixer that I don't like, by the way, upstairs to mix makeup, and it works great, you guys. I love it. It's the liquid makeups. It's been a really good addition. Okay, so this is this gray is actually kind of in the green family. Looks a little bit warm, so that's going to work really good for bone in the shadows. And in reality, you can probably just mix from the white to that to get what you need. And then we'll, of course, probably touch the bones up a little bit with a little bit of Seraphim. A little bit of that. Oh, I got 2 Agrax, the Seraphim. Well, look at that. or a little bit of ink. See some Green Stuff World, their inks, Venom. Because we want the bone to have that, like, that stained look to it, you know? But I kind of want it to look like she's taking good care of it at the same time. So that being said, that's a good start right there, just for the skin and the bone, and actually a pretty simple palette. Now for the leather, we're going to want to use some deep brown, or again, the ink in the shadows is always like really deep, nice and rich. So you can do that. And I'm still looking for the color that is the Van Dyke Brown. I haven't found anything that works for it, you guys. It is my search. It really is. This is their plain black. We can bring that out for glazing. And then I've got, might as well bring the plain white out. No, 51st Shade is not. It is called White Night. All right, there we go. That should do it. All right. I'm not gonna worry about the weapons or any of that right now. Just gonna get these guys. We'll start with the bone, and then usually what I have on the desk, so I got these little trays, a bunch of these, and usually what I have on the desk is these little trays, and then I'll put the colors that I'm using in them. But this has helped keep everything kind of just out from underneath of everything else on the desk a lot. Yeah, I do. I like that mixer. The mixer that I didn't like for mixing my paint works really good for makeup. It just did not have enough power for paint, so it was really bugging me. But it has plenty of power to mix any of the makeups that I need to mix. And it really mixes the liquid lipstick really well. That was one thing I was super happy about. You can hold it on there sideways and it really gives a good mix to it. So that was super inspiring. Because those lipsticks are a pain in the ass because they're in such a thin container. You know, the container's only as big around, it's not even as big around as lipstick, it's as big around as a lip gloss. And so it's a pain in the ass because you can't, you know, the stuff all goes to the bottom. And if you lay them on your side, then it's all stuck on the pigment's all stuck on the side. It's just a pain in the ass. So that was super helpful. I actually find if you stick your paints on their side and hold them, some of the littler bottles, if you hold them on sideways on the Typhoon, that it mixes them better than holding them upright. I have to put it upright and also upside down. But if you do it sideways on the mixer, it seems to do a pretty darn good job. I just kind of hold it to the spinner. All right, let's see, and then the lighter green and the darker green. All right, then those being our colors, let's see how you guys are doing over here with the palette. Okay, do we have everything? Nope, let's get that centered in for you. We'll go over that way. This way, nope, nope. There, okay. Sometimes this is not mounted the way I want it. There we go. There you are. So now you can see from the purple all the way around. So our greens and grays are over here, and then our purple is over there. We're also gonna get some deeper. So we're gonna get out the magenta is our glow. Some of the colors you're gonna need. So the magenta is our OSL. We're gonna need some iron oxide to mix into the skin to get it just the way we want it. We don't want her to look purple. Her backside's gonna be more of her natural green color. Right on. Hey, Bitter Brush, how you doing? Iron oxide's deadly. We're gonna put it all the way over there by its little onesie. Let's see, we've got a glazing white. I'm gonna need the violet. That's the super dark purple we're using, is the Chimera Violet, because it's super pigmented and it'll go really, really dark. I want to get that real dark, 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 dark purple. And we'll put a little bit of that right over here. And hopefully you're able to just tiny bits. The Chimera is tiny, tiny bits of paint. Hopefully, yep, hopefully you guys can see the whole thing. Here we go. That's where I'm going to make my mess, right there. Are you paying attention? That's where the mess is going to be. All right, let's see. And then as we look over the whole thing, so we definitely were using the Payne's Gray. Always the Payne's Gray, you guys. Gotta have the Payne's Gray. If you don't have Payne's Gray ink on your desk, you need to get Payne's Gray ink for your desk. It is a needed. You need Payne's Gray. Okay. Very, very important. All right. And that looks like pretty much what we're doing. The leather is going to be, yeah, I guess we do have to address that. So the leather, we're going to get the raw umber. Is it Bitman? Is that how that's pronounced? Welcome from D Live. It is our PJ Sunday over here. We are going to be working up some skin, some leather, some skin, some shadows, a little bit of everything on this gal here today. Let's see. Leather color. So, real good choice is just starting. I like to just start with yellow ochre, especially since it's like a kind of a kid skin color. And I can lighten that and darken that according to lighter shadows. Usually in the shadows of that. Pretty good. How are you? Did I pronounce that name correctly? I hope I did. All right, and then this one, it's kind of an odd guy, the leather part is, so I'm gonna just sort of, I'm gonna put it up here. You might not be able to see that, but when I go to mix it, I will let you guys know what I'm getting into there, as I usually do. Talking all the time. All right, so the back, of course, is where we've got all the shadows going on. You'll notice that we've got like purple in the, there's a lot of deep green. There's even purple in her back that you can see. Now, one of the things that I do want to do with her is I'm going to keep the face white. Not necessarily this plain white, but I'm going to do the face in a white tone, and then we will do OSL over that, as if she's wearing like a war paint. I really kind of like that idea. I also sort of like the way the face looks, very white like that. I was pleased with the look of that. Again, I used tacky, and you know how I feel about that. Captain does hate the tacky. Just really pisses me off how it sticks to the mini and doesn't come off. I don't know, man. Where is it? I've tried all types of tacky. This one was the one that I had the best results with. Man, that Loctite tacky that someone recommended. Whoa, that was a nightmare. It did keep my mini from falling off the base, though. I'll be honest about that. It's just that it, once you stick it, also, I used one that we stuck stuff all over the walls in one of our rentals, and it turned the walls blue. Everywhere you stuck something. So what's up? Is it Bitman? Betekman? What is up? I see you found us. I am Captain Madlove. These people in chat are my crew. Some of them are lurking. We are a crew of pirate painters, painting pirates. Some of us are 3D modelers. Some folks draw. Not necessarily all 3D modelers. I mean, not necessarily all miniature painters, is what I meant to say. Did you pop that Chibi channel in there for me, geek? Oh, are you still working on it?
No, I'm trying to fix something else.
Oh, okay.
Settlers back going.
Oh.
Just a nerd thing to figure out.
Oh, yeah. Someone had said that they didn't see it in all the channels, but just ours. The other day when it was doing it, and then... Okay. No more tacky. That's not happening. Can't do the tacky. I've got to, I mean, I do that, and then and every time I regret it. I got to go in here and I got to pick this stuff off. Sometimes I just feel like super gluing them. Maybe rubber cement. Maybe I'll rubber cement them into place. That's a good idea, because it peels right off. We use that to somebody had said that they use that instead of the frisket, the liquid frisket. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. So you can like paint an area. I use this liquid frisket, and somebody was saying that they use rubber cement. All right. Okay, it's gone, and as long as I don't attach her to this, which now has it all over it, we'll be okay. As usual, it's hot down here. Okay, I gotta get that aside. I just put a new blade in it, so definitely cutting myself is like I already have. Oh, see? See? I didn't get my thumb, but I did the other day. Oh, I just scathed it. Yeah, I cut a finger open on the other one. Oh, I cut this one too. See? Okay. All right then. So we're gonna start with I think the face. Well, we're gonna do because the face is gonna have like a lot of glow happening on it. Let me get a very, very tiny. I might just use my eyeball brush on this. I might actually just get out one of these fancy ones. Let's see about that. Oh, hold on. I've got some fancy ones. Hold on. Not a filbert. Not around. What I've got in here. What is it? Oh, detail. Okay, hold on. Let's see what it's got. So I got the one. Oh, I like this brand. Zero? What was that? Should I get 2 zeros? I did. Okay. Now, one thing you gotta do when you get a new brush out, okay? You gotta give it a bath. Very important that you clean it. That way, because sometimes they have like a little bit of starch and whatnot built up in them, right? For those of you that are here, welcome, welcome to our PJ Paint Day. I will let you know when Geek has the Chibi channel loaded for you guys so that you can put your chibis in there. And also, if you'd like to share work or your Instagram page in the chat, please feel free, you guys. If you have something you want to share with everybody that you've been working on, it doesn't have to be miniature painting, as long as it's work safe, whatever it is. I usually give them about 3 runs through the soap, the brush soap, just to let you guys know, just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. I'm actually cleaning my soap up a little bit so that there's a little bit of soap in the water even. That's my poke brush. All right. And one more. Did I get 2 sizes? I hope I got 2 sizes. I did. Oh yeah, one's really long. Okay. Oh, hello, Misko. How are you? We actually have company from D Live today. I haven't got an answer on whether or not I'm pronouncing that name right. There we go. Okay, now I've got a little. Whoop, that one needs a little, just a little help there. It's got a little stray brush. That little stray, the little stray. Get the little hair poking out the side. You want to take that hair off. Inevitably, it's going to get paint on it, and then it's going to get all over your miniature. What are you up to out there, Dax? You hanging out with Snick? Pretty good. Pretty good. Better than some days, not as good as others, mate. That's how it rolls. Oh, are you having a play date with Zelius? In the stream or in real life? Like in the real life? Are you there in the real life? All right. Let's see what we got going on here. So, in building this, one of the things we want to do is before we get up here on the front and get our bone just perfect the way we want it, right? You're going to want to get in here and I'm going to turn off the light because we're still in the light phases. Sorry about that, guys. That's the ink over there. But we're turning that off so that you guys can a little less light because she's got a lot of light colors, and we want to wait till we get a little bit more dark built before we have that light on. There we go. Better? Better. Get it focused in. There we go. Yep, yeah. How are you doing, my rat, my rat? All right, let's see what we got here. So, as I was saying, build this bone up, and then we got to get in here and do that skin. You know. So you want to get in there and do that skin while the getting's good before you get in here and get crazy with the bone. That way, you won't have to, as you're painting the bone, end up on the skin. And also, if you're doing the skin, you get your bone all perfect, and then you're in here doing your skin, and then you pull the brush out, and you accidentally paint across your bone. You don't want to do that. No painting across your bone. Lesson learned. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of the lighter skin flesh over here on the palette. Make sure I got you guys in. You guys are in there. Okay. It looks like you're seeing everything we've got going on the palette over here. So I'm going to start here. I'm just going to pull this out a little bit because we're not working with those other colors. We're going to take a little bit of the lighter green, and I'm going to mix a little bit of the darker green. We're just going to make kind of a mid-tone out of that right there in the middle, leaning a little bit towards the lighter. Now, the thing I did forget in putting her skin together is I did forget to put out a little bit of that nice deep green by Chimera. Oh, well, that's really nice to hear. I'm always loving to hear that people are doing the things that they love to do. Spending time with friends is important. And so what I'm doing is I'm glazing in here right over the areas of the lighter skin with a little bit more green. Now this is, I believe, Elven green that I've got going on here. Okay, for the face area, it is much darker. And so for the face area, I'm going to tone that down quite a bit and get with a darker green over here. And I'm going to glaze that in over the purple shadows. So I did a little bit of undershadowing, right? So we want to keep that nice jawline on her. You're also going to go in here and I'm going to hit some of these shadowed areas with this. Not super tidy, but just enough to make it obvious where those shadows are falling. I'm going to go in the neck area. Now I'm going to take a very small amount of violet, and this is Chimera violet. That is super, super powerful. But I'm going to mix it, believe it or not, yep, with the brown. See that going on right there? Okay, so that's our shadow color. And we're going to come in here and we're going to kind of like hit the collarbone area around the bones and get a real good shadow built on this so that we can start to build the volumes. Yes, Drax. Her tree. Now here, she's jumped and she fell in a tree. Here's the thing, the tacky man. You know how I feel about the tacky, and so I put her in the tree to get the zenithal highlighting done on everything all at one time, and I used tacky, and yeah. So I didn't want to spend my time boring everybody with picking the tacky out of the tree, so I did pick it all off of her palms and off of her foot, but she is actually holding onto a tree like so, because she jumped through a portal and onto a tree. Don't touch it. Don't touch the tacky. Yeah. Oh yes, I broke hers off. So I had that trouble with the little tiny pieces on some other models. This resin is a little bit more fragile when it's very small like this than some of the resin that I use. So they like to take a tumble. You know, they're always going to take a tumble, right? And which means it's going to break. And I know I'm going to have to fix it. I'm fine with that. Where my problem comes in is that if she were to fall and this snaps off, then it's going to go somewhere and I'm not going to have it. I'm just not very good at the modeling yet. I'm working. I can do connective joints and I can make scales look like scales, but you should see this feather that I made. It's very sad. It's terrible. So I just reached up and snapped hers off, and because it's going to happen anyway, and I'll go back and I'll fix it later. Yeah, I just that's what's going to happen. Is I'm telling you, it's going to be a lost situation, and I've had it happen numerous times, like when Captain Seti fell on her head right off my little area over here. She broke the feather off, and I can't find it. So now we're going to get a little bit of we're using that distilled water and the little bit of that retarder, and that's what we're using. So at this point, you'll notice that these strokes are a little bit, you know, you're seeing them a little bit more. It's more what you guys might refer to as painterly fashion at this point in time. Okay, so we're coming in here. Yeah, see, here's what happened, Drax. Like, she fell. She fell when I picked her up and I was putting her away when I first had her, and she fell and it broke a horn off. I can't find that horn. So, yeah, those little pieces oftentimes, I mean, I try to be careful, but inevitably I end up breaking a little something. But I'm going to have to get better at modeling, if for no other reason than that right there, man. So we want to get like up underneath of these bones with the really deep shadow, like as the part over here where we got a little bit more purple. I want to get right in there and get that in. And I'm kind of doing a little bit of a painterly thing with that. Get that guy in there. And then that way we've got some shadows happening in some of these areas. And then we'll come in and we'll glaze them down a little bit. I'm probably going to do that real fine line technique on her, because that fine line technique really does make absolutely beautiful layering when you do that glazing and you use that little stroke on miniatures. And I've used like a lot of different strokes on a lot of different subjects. The miniature stroke that we use, that little, I'm telling you, for miniatures, you just got to do it. It's really for real. Yeah, I know, right, Drax? But it's okay. She can have one horn missing. Phrasing. Yeah, gotta watch your stroke. Hello, Dave.
There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
We're talking about paying attention to your stroke. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Let's see. You're back, and you recommend the Elegoo brand ABS-like resin. Oh, yeah. See, this is okay. This is not. We didn't print this. So now that's what I'm saying. Now the one fog that Geek uses is a little more flexible. So I know what you're talking about. This is from another company, but it's just some of these little pieces are just a little more fragile with them. And I thought about breaking the knife off too, but it's so close to her body that I think we're going to be okay with that. This one's like out there though, see? And it's really like, I'm serious, you guys, come on. My brush is bigger than this. This is tiny. And I just don't want to lose it, because modeling that's going to be a bitch. All right. What you up to, Dave? You painting? You painting? Okay, so now we got to go in here, see, because the light's coming down, right? We're going to have to get in here. And you got to get like a shadow right there because that bone, you can actually see that when you hold her in the light. Okay. Then also we're going to need to get in here and get like right along the leather because that's going to create a shadow, you know, where the material is touching the body. We want to get that. I don't use my brush to do these little spaces. Hold on, are you guys in focus? To do these little spaces, I'm going to bring you guys down. Do you mind? I'm going to put this right in front of my face, okay? In the new studio, we are getting there. How about that, you guys? Is that better? There you go. Now you can really see. It's in my face, but that's cool. Can you do that? Does that work for you? I don't use my really good tipped brushes for doing these little spaces like this because if you're pushing your paint or the paint and the bristles up in there when you're don't use your good brush because it makes the end curl. It ruins your little end. Also, synthetic brush. This is actually one of my favorite brushes. I love this brush. Did Geek show you the pic that you? I don't think so. I don't know, Dave. Actually, I don't know.
Show you the pic what?
I'm not sure.
Oh no.
He says no. Okay, see what I did there? Right? Got to get it on this side too. See how that's kind of like all along the hold on. I'll take it way out of focus, then I can bring it in. There you guys are. There you are. There, so I kind of went all around, right? Okay, so this is the shadowed area. I'm doing this first for you guys because it's a little bit easier. So if you're looking along, like you're cruising along and painting with me. Now, we are going to have higher areas and lower areas. Now you're going to want to mix a color kind of in between the two to sort of give that area not such a choppy look. See how it's just kind of choppy looking? We want to smooth that out. And that's where that really super little tiny stroke comes in so handy. So I'm going to take a little bit of that shadow color and I'm going to kind of go towards the green with it, but I'm going to also add a little bit of the highlight color to desaturate it. The highlight color, you notice, or one of the midtones that we're using is like a desaturated green, right? And so I'm going to use that mixed with a little purple and a little deep green will make a mid-tone color. And then we can come in here and we can, well, first of all, you have to have a little bit on your brush. Secondly, you might need a little bit of moisture in the belly so that we can get our little lines going on. Now, the thing about it is it takes a little go. Okay, it's going to take you a little practice, not to be stressing it, okay? And it takes layers. All right, we're going to come back in here again. We're going to get a little bit more of that. I'm going to come over here and we're going to kind of do the same thing. I also can twist the tip right on your glove. Sometimes I put a little bit of medium out, and I'll put a little bit of that on the tip of my brush. I mean, on my brush before I go into the paint. But watch this smooth out. Now, there, it's dry again. We're going to come back in here and do this again. But we're keeping that shadow. We're not painting in the shadow. It's very tiny. Be very, very patient. Okay, now you'll see that kind of smooth out, right? You're still going to see the areas that dip back really far, super dark. Oh, it's not ready for paints yet. Okay, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna get a little bit of this, the milk bottle, and we're gonna mix a tiny bit of our highlight green and milk bottle together. So we're elevating the green. You're desaturating it a little bit more. And what we're gonna do with that is we're gonna come in here and we're gonna get some of these areas that we can distinguish as the light coming through and creating a little highlight area. And we're gonna very gently glaze a little bit of that in. She's a little bit awkward. There we go. A little layering will bring that up. See, it's got kind of a little white thing going on there, a little white highlight. You'll see it. A little bit more. Let's see, where can we put it? Looks like we almost have that area, like as far as what's gonna be standing out. We got that area pretty darn good. Maybe right there a tiny bit. Okay, now we're gonna go down towards the shadows. So you're gonna take the deeper shadow color, and that's where you're gonna kind of, now sometimes shadows graduate and sometimes they don't. It's sad, they're held back in class. No, I'm totally bad at that joke.
Cancel.
So like in this instance where you've got this arm going up, she's got a pretty sharp highlight right where it's hitting her collarbone, but also it's going to drop back into the shadow, you know, more. So you are going to get kind of a sharp transition there that's going to look a little bit choppy. But you have to determine when you're working with your shadows whether that is what you want happening and that is what is going on. Wait, what are you doing now? What are you doing, Flog? Oh, please tell him I said hi. Oh, does that mean you're leaving? Are you telling me you're leaving, Flog? Is it time to go? So in bringing the shadow down, before you start adding a white color to it, try adding, in this case, like we've got this darker green, a little bit of green and see if you can bring the shadow down a little bit with the green. Oh, okay, okay. So now what we're gonna do, this is gonna be really hard to get on camera. I'm gonna try, but she's got like this indentation in the collarbone right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here with a secondary shadow color and I'm gonna get right along where the two come together, okay? So where this shadow that's really dark starts and where her collarbone is kind of folding over. And then what I will do is that same color, kind of thin it, and then bring it into these areas of skin right up next to the shadow. As long as you haven't desaturated it, it should stay a nice shadow color when you glaze it in over the shadows. That's what you want to watch out when you're using white or gray or whatever to desaturate. If you're trying to glaze, it can be dangerous because it can kind of mess up your color to where that glazing ends up looking like muddy. So try to keep your colors as pure as you can to try to start with the glazing process. Now we're going to move up. And we're going to thin this one, like really, really thin, almost like dirty water. And we're actually going to come again and glaze this. This is the green, a little bit of dark green, a little bit of light green. Just little tiny lines. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of come up into the collarbone here, right? And I'm going to just put a little bit of that on the side of her neck, sort of where a little bit of light might be getting in. And what that's going to do is it's going to help with your transition. You'll see in just a minute. I'm going to go back for the light color that we built for the highlight. And while this is still a little bit wet with my other colors, which really helps out, I'm going to put some little bitty lines in here that are going to create a pop and highlight. Now, do you see how that happened? right? And do you see how that little tiny bit, we might even be able to sneak another layer of that in there right on the neck, right here. Because it'll build on itself. When you glaze, it builds color, and it builds volume. I'm just getting a little bit of that in there. There we go. Just I hit it a couple times to get a little bit more color out of it so we can get that little highlight popping. And you can always tone it down if it's too much. See? Now do you see how that one though is a darker? It's in the it's an in the shadow highlight, so to speak. Right there. We're looking right there. That part. Okay, now we're gonna do that same thing. We're gonna repeat that same process, and we're gonna come over here on the neck. Now, it's very congested, so you want a very fine brush. You're going to make the very, very smallest of lines. So we're gonna make the transition right there. Clean it up a little. So you gotta mix that middle color. You gotta try to. Sometimes the glove helps. I paint a little bit on the glove so I can kind of see how dark it is. Sometimes dots are your friend. Sometimes a stroke, like you can't even get a stroke in there. It's such a small space. So sometimes a stroke is just not happening. And you need to line dots up. And if that happens, then that's what you got to do. And I do that quite a bit. One of the important things is to try not to get so much moisture on your brush that you end up allowing that moisture to build up in the recess where your shadow is. Now I will go in and I will get some of this shadow on a very fine brush. It's that line right along the leather that we need. Right along the leather. Oh, Gore, you have to go. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, Gore. Thank you so much for coming in. Remember that Chibi channel should be up, Gore, and you can put it in there too.
Really, this is all, except it's been working fine for almost 2 years. So probably not that.
Well, we used to have that stuttering sometimes in the old house, remember?
No, that was network stuttering, not so your OBS is actually stuttering itself.
This is the hard one. So like when you're coming in, whoa, from the side, and instead of holding the brush upright, sometimes you got to get along a line. So now it's okay, I painted on her leather. So holding your hand, so it's very awkward. You're holding your hand this way, right? You're inserting, and then you're pulling back and around. Trying to get the tip of a brush in some areas and get a stroke is just almost impossible. So sometimes taking that brush and turning it all the way around, so I'm literally doing this with my hand because I can pull it along the line, because sometimes like this just doesn't work. Now I can see if you start learning, you'll start learning your volumes by eye, and I can see by like looking down against here, We're looking along the leather there. And I can see by looking down that line that once I start building the highlights over here, that's going to be a really nice shadow. It doesn't need to be black to show up. We just need to make sure we build enough volume around it. That's all. I'm going to take a little bit more of this medium green that we've got built here, thin it like dirty water, and we're just going to come in here and get a little bit more of that to smooth those lines out a wee bit, transition a little bit. We do have a weird shadow right there. We want to keep that because of the fact that the horn is coming down there. Now you can start to see the flesh take its shape. So we'll go ahead and we'll do the armpit while we're here. If I can get these areas that are around this armor, we'll be doing really good. I will use the medium color here to glaze over and into the shadow areas a little bit, just to kind of give the green a little bit more pronunciation, make it a little bit more pronounced. This area right here, kind of where her peck comes out, but I don't want to get, she got a bone overlapping that, so I don't want to get too much there. I just want the skinniest little bit because this bone is here. So I will shadow back down under the bone. Making sure that my shadow that's under the bone itself is like right underneath of it is nice and dark. I'm also going to make sure that right around this strap that's on her arm has got a really developed dark shadow. You can thin that dark shadow so that you can glaze it in a little bit more. Yeah, that's looking good. And I want to get a little bit more of that right here. There are times when just adding the shadow will create the volume. I'm going to take a tiny bit of black and just get this shadow right around the strap to make sure it shows. And around this piece of armor. It's got purple also, so I'm also gonna make sure I get the skin that's on the back there hit with that. I'm just going to touch the little areas that might have a wee bit and ever so light. It's not even really a highlight. Again, we're going back to that it's in the shadows part. So that one there, we're going to need, as we come around, we need to deepen it, because this is the backside and we've got some serious OSL going on, so it's going to be really dark. to get those all in the right places. Once you get your shadows dark enough, you can actually determine, do I really need highlight? And sometimes just the color itself ends up being the highlight of all the weird things. Once you've got all of your shadows developed. So pay attention for that, because it will fool you. Sometimes your volume is not missing highlight. It's actually missing shadow. Is everything okay over there, Dave? You didn't send a message because anything bad happened, right?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
used to be.
Oh, you can, Dave, it's Tuesday. You can totally shout it out in the chat. So this shadow color's got a little green, a little purple, and a little black that we're working with right now in some very small amounts to get this little area built. Now, do you see how that looks? So it's not really, really accentuated. And then what we'll do is we'll glaze just a wee bit. I don't know how that got in there. That's the weirdest thing ever. Of the green itself that we built for the skin color. And then I go back. And again, just make sure I've got all the glazing for those little shadows in their place so we don't lose that volume. Just to lift the skin in the shadows a little. That way you can actually see her muscles. Now, not a lot, just a little. There. Because that arm is actually kind of turned back from where the OSL is coming from. So we don't want a whole bunch of that just, you know, her muscular armpit just also. It actually really is a rather muscular armpit. I just have to add that. Okay, but then the side that's up here that actually might be getting some of that, I'm going to actually go ahead and let it have the highlight color. Uh-oh.
I have no idea what's causing this stuff. Actually, they're positive they know what the stuttering is. Problem is they're wrong.
Okay, I just mixed up that real dark shadow color that you saw over there, right? And I'm using that right along the fine line where the shadow is on her armor. And then we're also going to take that and we're going to put a little area of that right there. A little area of that right there. So we can get that shadow of that armor there. There we go. All right. Gore said he'll check back later. Fwog, Chibi Channel's made. So you can leave your stuff in there for me, mate. But also, shout it out in chat so that everybody can see what you're working on. And then in working on our hand, because we're really not going to see under this hand, okay, I'm just going to get a real good shadow on the back part because she is holding onto a tree. Remember, where two things come together, there's always a super dark place. All right. Come around here. We need to get right up in here. So I'm going to take that shadow and then thin it, right? And then in thinning it, I can come and I can get that kind of a little bit underneath that bone area. Right? You got to be real patient. Now this is going to have some light right here. Okay. But probably up underneath that bone is not. So focus your shadow in that area there. See how that worked? Now we gotta get that in-between color. Mind you, these are very small amounts of paint that I'm mixing. Also, don't mix with your good brush. If you practice twirling that brush, all right, then you'll eventually learn to twirl the brush and not to damage the tip when you're doing a little bit of mixing. But it takes a little bit of practice, so if you're ready to go through a few brushes, then go. Okay. We're building a little bit of that for OSL. See how that's happening, right? We got to build a little area to kind of get that OSL in. Again, I'm using those teeny tiny. I think there's maybe 3 hairs on my brush I'm even using. And one of the things that will help you in building it too sometimes is painting in a piece that you're not really quite ready for. Now let's just take a look at this development. Here's what I want you to really see. So here you got this arm coming back, right? And we've got the OSL casting on the arm, right? But you've got the back side of the arm. So I start with this front side here is all blocked in for me. And I will start with a thin glaze of the median color. Okay, so we've got a little bit of the light green, a little bit of the dark green, and a smidgen, I do mean a smidgen of purple. Notice the 2 lines are coming together there, right? So I will take a color between the 2, right? So it's going to be going a little bit more towards the shadow, so I'm going to get a color between that, right? I want it to be darker, and I'm going to come along here. This is actually a really good place to, whoa, too much water, sorry, got excited there. It's a really good place to put this, to show you this. And I'm going to go along there. And I'm going to cover that line. On areas that are real narrow, like the finger, just use the side of your brush. Okay, now there's this area here, right? So we've got to get kind of in between those 2 colors again now, because that area is a real deep shadow, but it's going to need to, it's not necessarily a chopped area, as in like having something really starkly covering it. So we're going to come in here and we're going to get a color that's in between. And mind you, it's color in between the shadow and that median color. right? Right? See how it kind of starts to fade? Okay, we're gonna do it again. Now we're gonna go, we're coming back towards the light. So you're gonna come over here and you're gonna steal some of that median color that you've got. That's actually your, this is more like your base color of skin right here. Let's actually, you know what? Let's do a little thing here. Let me show you. That way, you guys, so because when I go back and forth through the paints, like you might be like, well, what? Median this, median that. Okay, hold on. So let's just take a look at this one right here. Okay, we'll just look at that one. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you, right? So you're looking at that one. It's got the arrow, right? That is the base color of the skin. Now, generally speaking, there's going to be a couple of those, okay? So you got to consider there's a lot of light going on. We're going to have at least 2 median colors, all right? So over here, do you see that? Okay, good. So now you can see that. Okay, so those are your 2 median colors, the ones that are in the middle, so you can kind of see we're fluctuating between this area here where we've got like this dark green and then this really light green that's a highlight. But what we do is we take a little bit of that, right, and we put it here, and then you'll take a little bit of this and we get a color kind of in between over here. And I do mean like the tiniest bit of purple is in that. Look, that purple is so powerful that that's a little too much. So you can tone it down, bring a little more green in. There we go. And we're back on track with there. See how that matches right there? And that's our base skin color. So this one is, we're working from that as the base. But what I don't want, oh, sorry guys. What I don't want is the base color of the skin to have no blood flow in it. So that's what the purple is for. Now you could use also magenta when you and then transform it into the shadows and go with the purple. But as we come around from the shadow, we're going to thin some of one of our base skin colors, right? And we're going to kind of do those little stripes again, but we're going to go into the shadow, not all the way, just a little bit. Okay, so now we're taking this and we're going in to the shadow with it. Do you see what that did? Right? Now look at that. And if you do it again, watch what happens. Do you see it? You see it start to calm it all down? Wait till it dries. Okay, and then we've got an area over here we've got to hit. It's gonna have to go into the shadow there. This is on the other side of the light. It's actually going into the shadow, but we're bringing this base skin color in here. And you're kind of feathering it over. Watch the skin transform. Okay. Now we're in the highlight area. So now we're going to go, as you go to do that, we're going to get a highlight that's not quite the highest light. And we're going to, again, we've got it thin. You want it to be nice and thin. This is little transparent layers, okay? And we're going to hit this area again, right along almost that same line, but just not overlapping as much. All right. Do you see it? Now we're going to come up to that highlight. Okay. And we're going to take this and we're going to put this right along the highlight. Right along the arm where the OSL is hitting it. I'm going to skip the wrist because it indents. dots on the hand, dots, 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 because, you know, stripes aren't going to fit. Then we're going to come closer to the OSL. Okay, leave that to dry. Now, do you see what's happening? I'm hoping you guys see this. See that transition? Yes? Now we do the same thing on the back. Now you've got the, as you come around, this is against the tree. So you have to ask yourself the value of that, okay? Right? So that's where the sticky should not be on the tree. So we're gonna put it over, and you have to ask yourself the question, right? If she's hanging onto this tree here, do you need to get crazy with the back of that arm? Somebody might look at the back of the mini, maybe. So we do want to get at least a few layers, but what you want to do there is you want to get them pretty darn dark, okay? Because that's going to be the area where the majority of this shadow is. So I'm going to mix the really dark shadow, okay, which is the green and the purple together, and I'm going to thin it, okay? And I'm going to come in here on the back side of the arm that touches the tree, and I'm going to glaze in a layer of this. I'm going to take a little black and I'm going to mix that over here, and I'm going to catch in between these fingers. I mixed it with the shadow color, okay? It's a very dark color. We want a very sharp brush so that we can get these striations without getting too much paint. Now, you can always go back and make another layer, but what you can't do, and is going to cause you painting over, is you can't just take your paint back most of the time. She's got some striations in her hand that I want to hit with a very fine brush. Hello, Paul John. How are you, my friend? So is it just a live with it until it corrects itself situation, Geek?
No, I can't. I just can't do anything while you're streaming.
Oh, boo. She's got what looks like some lizard wrinkles, and I'm going to take the very fine brush and I'm going to go in there. This is not mixed with a lot of black. Again, a little bit. And then I come forward, overlapping those shadows to get that skin kind of raised. And I need to get those lizard wrinkles in there. It's a very, very, very fine line. There we go. Okay, so now you can see she's got these lizard wrinkles, right? You know, a lot of folks that came in here have said that the last little bit's been a bit of a bugger for them too, mate. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you got it all ironed out. Again with the black. So sometimes what you'll find in between the recesses of all these little tiny fingers that these guys have is that your color might not hold just the way you want it to, so you got to kind of go back in. I'm going to use that little bit of a black shadow for the front of the hand that's touching the tree as well. And the underneath of the palm here. That way we get some very, very serious depth to that. All right. Now, again, we're going to put it up against our tree. Oh, you know, somebody had contacted me and told me that everything was just crazy because of the fact that school had started. All right, and we're going to kind of look at how it is lined up on the tree so we can get our glow just right. If she touches the tacky, tell me. No, meaning if this bad naughty model touches the tacky. She thinks she's funny, I think. Okay, then we're going to back up again. So as we got that all in there, and then we're going to back up again. So we can get some of the little bit of the shadow built with it while we're using the two colors. I'm going to get the... You've got... Who was that? Hey, Wavy. I thought somebody was praising me. How you doing? All right. So we just have that one area where there's the line's a little harsh, and you got to find that color that falls right between those two, and that's going to be the one that saves you on that. So I can get, and sometimes be patient with yourself. Sometimes it's a couple of layers that'll get you there. It's not that you mix the color wrong, it's that you need another layer. So now we're going to go in and we're going to pick up that one that's the highlight. You've been lurking while friends were around. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. We are stepping into a whole nother level of this model, building skin here. And we're really working on the volume aspect. What are you up to, my friend? I mean, besides lurking while friends are there, which I find extremely complimentary. So again, I'm taking that highlight color and bringing it in here and casting it right along that highlight point of the arm. Now, the other thing that I'm doing, see, I'm gonna get that in between color, and this is where we're gonna fix it. Boom. And just like that, couple layers. And then we're going to take that lighter color again, and I got to get the finest little line, because the line that I'm looking for here is to get these little veins like that she has. And I'm going to tell you what's really going to solve that for us. Watch this. All right. All right. So taking that purple shadow and really thinning it down. The really dark shadow. And what we got to do is get in here beside this is a super fine brush, and we got to get in here right beside those striations. With a little line of that. But then we have to come back for the lighter color. And you want to let that dry, because you're going to need to come back with the lighter color and then kind of pick up the areas a little bit, just to kind of make them pop after you've added that shadow. Now I have to take a look at it without my glasses. Well, actually, that's probably not a good choice. Back it up. I have to fix this area here. So she's got a little spot. It's just a spot, but because it doesn't come together, the paint doesn't lay together the way that I want it to. I absolutely have to go in and fix it. It's one of those personal things. And then I think I'm gonna work on the leather for a little minute. Yeah, there it is. Sorry for the silence, guys. Sometimes the area is so small. Now, I know they meant for her to have striations in her skin like a lizard, but I actually don't know if I like them when I hit them. So, decisions, and one thing is that you can always go back and paint it. So I'm going to see if I take the strong striations out or glaze a little over them so they're softer, I may like them better. Sometimes taking a look at it from a different perspective or with a different color will give you insight to where you're trying to go. So it really is about finding your way somewhere. as I come around to the shadow, I just deepen up that color. Till we are in the green and the purple area. The time?
Yep. Here's your violence.
Thank you. If I like that better. Well, I can't say particularly, but I can see where the area for improvement is and what it is that I need to do. Better. So I see kind of what it is that I want now. Okay. So, coming back at it, I'm going to go for that highlight again. I'm going to start with it really clear, as in thinned. I do like the softer approach. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Okay, so that worked for me. I also find a lot of the time that working in the direction of my light helps me get a better product. If I start laying, because the way you pull your brush is the direction that you pull your brush is always going to leave the most paint at the opposite side of where you're stroking to. And so by pulling the opposite direction of my light, if I'm in the shadows, that is. Now, if I'm in the light, I would probably go the other way, because in that case, we want that highlight to build, but when working into the shadows, I want the shadow to build, so it becomes a different story for me. So when I'm in the shadows, I'll pull towards the shadow. That way, when I pick up my brush, the biggest area of paint that is left behind is in the shadows. And pretty much got it centered. Probably need a little bit more shadow here.
This is a reminder. Take out the dog.
Hello, Make Right.
This is a reminder. Take out the dog.
And then we just need to come in and grab a little bit of that final highlight again. That's the tiniest bit. Very, very fine brush. And we want to get that right along the crest of the skin. Right where our highlights come in. There. Now, this backside could probably stand to be glazed with some green, but again, remember, it's touching the tree. Now, if you were looking at that, you might need to do something about that, but we're not. Did I see Dio sneak in? Anybody see Dio? Am I just thinking Dio? Yep. Okay, that's good. Now that arm right there. And if you doubt it, then you can look at itself, or I mean, you can look at itself. You can take its picture, turn it black and white, look at it, and see if you've maintained your volumes. Okay? Well, hello, TC. Haven't seen you in a minute. Now, what I will do for you to show you something interesting is take a brush that I have a little more control over. This one's great for spaces, but when it comes for doing little lines and whatnot, I really like a lot more control, so I'm going to shorten the throw on it. Yeah, it has been a while. So we're going to mix a wee bit of the terracotta with a wee bit of over here. You can't, yeah, you can. So it's going to be like a little bit orange. I really don't want to be mixing with that brush at all, like not at all. Oh, here's another one too. That's a 1. Awesome. Got a 1 out, and is that 0? Oh yeah, baby. All right, let's back it up a little bit. Bring it in for you guys. Back it up out of my face. There we go. All right. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna get a gnarly old mixing brush over here. Here we go. That one looks pretty ugly. And I'm going to get a little bit of a black to mix with that, because I'm going to be creating her arm straps now. And we want to get a good leather color going. The problem with the iron oxide, well, it's not actually a problem. It's just, you remember, if you've got the Chimera colors and you've got that red oxide is actually the color that they call it, just to keep in mind that it's like super powerful. Like boom, like in your face powerful. Okay, but if you notice over here, I added a wee bit of purple, right? And we got this beautiful color of brown, right? Take a beautiful color of brown and we're going to tone it into its darker self here with adding a little bit of black. Okay, right there. And then we'll take and add a little bit of the milk bottle. And we'll put that over here, and we'll get a little bit of the plain yellow ochre. Mix that with a little milk bottle, and that ends up making a really nice highlight on some buckskin. Jinx, hey, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm working with a gal whose armor's made from skeletons of some kind of mammal. All right, once we got that all mixed up, we can go in here and we can hit these, boom, boom, boom. armbands she's got. Now, scary, scary. Let's use the medium color. So let's really make sure that, you know, you don't have any excess moisture in your brush. Don't get crazy. Oh, that's the wrong size. Let's make sure we're not using the wrong size brush, you know. Let's try the smaller brush. So we do want the paint thin, but we want to be careful for moisture, because when you get in here and you're doing these little areas like this, these little tiny armbands she's got on, right? Yeah, well, what we don't want is we don't want that leaking into her armpit. This has some opacity to it. So you're going to end up with it up in the armpit. Then you got to go take that out. Now you've got like white in her armpit. So holding the brush sideways and traveling on its side like that. So we're not like trying to paint it like this. We're going like this. See, and still I ended up with some on her armpit. Keep a very handy cleanup brush. Usually your cleanup brush has to have pretty firm bristles so that you're able to pick it up. Fortunately, I caught it quick enough. If you don't catch it quick enough, okay? Now, that would probably be this brand new brush, and sometimes when I start using a brush that I haven't been using 101 times, I will make the mistake of how much moisture is in the ferrule, or near the ferrule, in the belly. Then we'll go for the darker brown, and you're going to put that up underneath it here. And back here, trying to use the side of the brush. Turning it a little bit on its side there. Be careful, you don't want to touch the skin like I just did, right? Okay, so we're going to kind of come around. And then we're going to kind of get that lighter color up here where the OSL is. Right now, you kind of don't have an option. Let's try twisting her this way and see if we can kind of use the side of the brush if we've got her twisted this way. What you up to, Jenks? One thing I'd like to tell you, you know that brush that you accidentally left in the rinse pot? If you have a brush that has the tip bent like that, it's your friend. Don't throw it away. What you working on? I will go back and forth between these colors until I get this highlight precisely where I want it. I almost painted her armpit white, just there. You would have seen me do it. It would have happened right before your very eyes. Eventually, exactly what I want will happen between the two colors. It's a little dry in the studio today, so I probably could have stood to put a little bit more retarder in it, probably. Funny though, sometimes you can be on a little space like this for a minute and it's frustrating. You just got to see yourself through it. You got to realize that it will all be worth it in the end when it's giving you the look, exactly the look that you want, that it will have been worth it. And we're just about to hit it. With me, it's usually layers. I have to get a certain color. And usually with me, it's layers. I'm never satisfied if it's, I have never painted under 3-4 layers and had it be the way I want it. All right. Now I gotta get right up there. And there it is. Doing what I want. With just a little bit of glow on it. Hello, Alexora. How are you doing? You were working on your raccoon skelly. Ooh, the other day. You got the sternum wired to the rib cage. Excellent. Love rib cages. Look at our rib cage for armor. I was putting off doing it for a while because I thought it would be a pain in the butt. Turns out that it really wasn't that bad. Well, that's really good. Like, that's odd. Well, that's something you'll love to hear, right? Because, I mean, how much shit doesn't go the way we want it to? In fact, I had to break her weapon off earlier this evening because I broke half of it off and I knew it was going to drop again and then I was going to lose the pieces. So I just broke her weapon off so that I'm going to come back and fix it later. Let's see, speaking about pain in the butt, I will be getting a green tree python skelly. Oh, wait, Jinx. Jinx, do you put together, like, real IRL skeletons? Like Mo the Bone Lady? Like real life stuff? How are you doing, Alexora? How are things? I got my curiosity up. I am using my brush erect. You want to be careful. Really, the safety position is kind of off to the side like this. When you're doing these little areas, it really ends up being a lot better deal that way.
Hey, crazy!
Dave? Are you reprimanding me? Oh, real skellies. Oh, it's more, really? Okay. I mean, I know a lady that streams, and she does that. Do you, surely you know her. You know Mo the Bone Lady, right? Like, she does this for people. I had talked to her about reconstructing, because I dug up a couple of the pets before we moved, and I talked to her about reassembling one for me. Turkey? The turkey is burning. Well, you better go get the turkey. Go get the turkey. You don't want burnt turkey. So I'm going to turn her this way so I can kind of keep the brush laying at that little bit of a sideways angle while I get these highlights on here. Well, Jinx, do you know who Mo the Bone Lady is? Have you seen her? That sounds amazing. Cats are supposed to be really difficult. How did you enjoy the cat? I heard that the cats were really complicated. All right, so now you can see what I want you to see. What I'm aiming to show you is how these colors then start to create the dynamics of the contrast, and also they are complementary colors. Oh, do you? Yeah. All right, so now we are going to get this armband that she has on, and honestly, we never really settled on the completion of what color that would be. So I'm gonna go with the really dark brown that we have here. Okay, we are coming around into a shadow, so I should be able to get this real deep chocolate brown put in here and have it work. Probably have to put a few highlights on the front part there that's holding it to the arm. See? See? I told, it's a good thing. That one actually poked me right through the hand, through my glove. It's a good thing that it came off while I was sitting right here. As we come around to the front, that area will be a little lighter. But see, right now, I can paint this with my brush at an angle. Still have it be in the shadows, okay? Get what you would kind of be like a highlight in your shadows, believe it or not, okay? So we're using the shadow color as it comes around the arm here, right? But then we're bringing it up a little bit as it hits this raised area. And in doing that, I almost create a shadow in the highlights. I mean, a highlight in the shadow. Oh my gosh, Juke, Box Hero, welcome aboard. This is something that I'm working on manufacturing right now. Hello, Dante. How are you doing? Created anything cool lately? Because it helped my spine, which is deteriorating, and it helped it so much. It actually stopped the deterioration factor for me personally. And really what it had to do with is sitting proper, and that allows better blood flow, so that it wasn't, the areas that are damaged weren't always cut off, the blood flow. And so we actually are working on getting this developed right now so that I'm able to give it to the community. I call it Captain's Cannonball, otherwise known as the posture ball in my studio, but we're going to call it the Captain's Cannonball. I am so sorry, Commander Dante. It has really been a couple of years. I just returned from my father's memorial, so my heart is with you, and I am sorry. I really am. I truly am. It hurts. There's just so much of it going around right now. It's so painful. I'm going to mix gray. I think a gray color for the inserts, because it's not anything she's got anywhere else. Maybe she will have it on the bone, but in the meantime, I will have to work with shadows on it because it's going to stick out like a sore thumb at first. Okay, guys? Yes, so when it happened, the whole thing with me, Commander Dante, and who was else I was talking to? Juke, is that I was taken out of work because of the body shutting down, and they told me I would never return to the same line of work because it was tearing up on several joints and my spine. And so I had to either go back to college and learn something new, or have something that I do that I can rely on. And it was my partner Geek and some friends of his that are like, well, why don't you stream painting? And I was like, nobody's gonna want to watch that. And they're like, no, people do that, and you can take your information and everything that you know about painting out there and give it to the world. And I was like, oh well, if nothing else, it would be maybe an adventure. And that's how I kind of ended up here. That adventure turned into what I do. So, and the other thing that was developed this year, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but Dante and Jukebox Hero, are you familiar with the Grim Grip? This was designed for disability inclusion. Dante. So yeah, if you have not looked at this, there are many videos on it. You can go to I think the video's on my website. Actually, I don't know. Let me. Oh, and it doesn't let me click. Really, Dante? Oh my gosh. Can somebody, yeah, does that work, Dave? Oh, exclamation point Grim. Hold on. Let's see if it comes up. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, can somebody link the Grim Grip Kickstarter? Now, the Kickstarter is closed, I'm letting you know, but we will be having the Grim Grip in our store after the Kickstarter closes. You'll be able to get the Grim Grip from me. So it's really interesting how it works, Juke. Are you a miniature painter? And Dante. So this is the hat, and your miniature can go on the hat, so you can get try exclamation point links and see if it comes up, guys. See if it's in my links, because it should be. It should be. It's closed, and we had it should be working. Let me see. Link tree. Well, it should be in the link tree. You can try the link tree, guys. Try the link tree and see if it's there. It's supposed to be there. There you go. So I don't want to break her again. So you can take the hat, right? And then you can exchange it for another hat. Like, then you got a mini stuck on this, right? So then you put it up, and then you get another hat, right? Put your another mini on there, right? Well, the other thing that's really cool is that when your mini's on this, you can literally turn this sideways and get right up between its legs. No kidding, right? Plus it turns all the directions this way. The other thing is that it keeps me from doing what I was doing earlier. It keeps me from doing this. Probably I did have it on my TikTok, Commander Dante, I did. The other thing is that, so if you turn it sideways, you can also spin it all the way around like that, right? And it keeps me from twisting my arm and holding my arm in weird positions. Okay, it rests really comfortably in the hand while you're painting, and you can position that mini just exactly where you need it while you're painting. Okay, then here's a really cool one, right? So say you have a really big mini, right? You take the ball off, and you have a magnet on the bottom of your really big mini, and you can mount a really big mini right here on the top, and then you're able to utilize, put a larger miniature on it. The other thing is this guy all by itself, you can cradle your mini if you want to. Right? So the ball is nice and weighty. So if you put a mini on it and you feel like you want to hold that mini in your hand, you can cradle it and have your mini in your hand. Here's the really cool part. And this is where the disability inclusion came in, is because we actually know a painter who only has one pan. And so this is just an old pan from like the Goodwill. That's like $2, I think. And you can go hands-free. So you can put your mini on here, and then you can set it down, and it's like, well, doesn't think that well, but no earthquakes, okay? And it really holds the miniature on when you stick it on here. It's like I was online and flinging it around and wrong link. That's okay. You guys can go follow Great Grimoire too. Anyway, so yeah, this is the Grim Grip, and it is. Yes, Commander Dante. We have great balls here. We have great balls. So it has been definitely a game changer for me as far as like what I can access on my miniature without having to contort my arms. There you go. There you go. Now you can go take a look at it. Well, hello, Lady B Miniatures. What is it? Wow, long time no see. You busy with your abstracts over there? How's it going? Yeah, so you guys, yeah, go check it out, because there's all kinds of videos. And if you want to laugh, you should go to my YouTube and watch my video that I did on it. It is 12 minutes, but it's good fun. It's good fun. So yeah, this, the other thing too is that you can, like if you have a miniature and you want to put it on, you can have pieces on one end while you're working with the miniature on this end, and then you can turn it around and work on your miniature on this end. You can buy extra balls. If you need extra balls, you can buy balls, and they're balls of steel. you can buy extra hats for it. So that's really cool. So if you keep an eye, CaptainMadlove.com, right? If you keep an eye on that website, when everybody that was in the Kickstarter finally receives theirs, then we will be having this merchandise in our store. Understanding that the Kickstarter, because I'm a collaborator, right? So my stock will not be available until after everybody in the Kickstarter gets theirs. Balls of Steel and Buns of Jello, the purple pickle. You're taking us. Oh, you're taking a break. Okay, I think everybody needs a break, Lady B. We all need a break. Oh, is it your one day of the week that you're drinking quite heavily? It's okay. You know what? Sometimes we got to have a drink. Yeah. Well, I don't know that it really looks a whole lot like a pickle, but I mean, I guess there's a resemblance to a pickle a little bit, maybe. But the thing I also like about it is this allows me to like paint on my miniature, right? And then all my pieces can go in here. So it also works for assembly. So I suck at that. The assembly, guys, is not my strong point. Hold on, I gotta lube the lips. Getting a little dry there. So yeah, when I'm assembling, what I really like is I'll put a little magnet on the bottom of the base for the mini, and then I tack the mini, not tack, super glue. Tack is what I mean. I hate tacky. Every time I use it, it fucks me. I'm serious. I'm so sick of tacky. So take the base and the little base, and then I glue a little magnet on the bottom. I don't mind tackying the magnets to the bottom. That I like the two-sided tape better though. And stick it to the bottom, right? Then I'll put the little guy here, and it holds it for me, so I don't have to try to assemble, and I can take the tweezers, and I was able to really put something together easily. So that being said, I will show you guys that at some point. You know, sometimes you just got to take a time out, right, Lady B? Sometimes you just got to take a time out. I'm telling you what. Sometimes the community gets a little bit crazy. Okay, just want to make sure everything's here. Oh, can I exchange this for the other? I apologize.
Oh, you're right.
Is she still crashed over there?
Yeah, we're up to eat chat.
But
Yeah, will you wake her up so we don't end up with a... What happened, Lady B? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, we're not going to go there because... Me too. I'm not taking a break, but I am so hearing you. Yeah. I just want you to know. I feel you, girl. I feel you. Because I got some... seriously, would you believe I'm even subject to bullying? Okay. Wow, that's a lot of work, Commander Dante. Oh, I just put rings on my desk. No! I hate when I do that. Yes. A little blue pill. A little blue pill, Commander Dante. A little blue pill. Oh, man, I've heard that from several people, too, though, actually. I just think everybody's kind of losing their shit a little bit, Lady B. Just a little bit. Losing their shit. Well, I will just tell you they were not my friends. Well, they acted like they were. I want to tell them about the brushes.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to tell you guys about the brushes. You want to hear? You're not going to believe this. Is Dave, now sit down and be calm. Wavy. No, I'm not going to. Yes, Dave. Don't get your shorts in a wad. Wavy, don't get your shorts in a wad. I'm not going to name the company, but I'm going to tell you guys, okay, you're not, so you know about that we're doing the brush thing, right? And, I don't see that there's going to be a resolution for this situation, but I think that you guys, yeah, I'm going to tell you a story, Lady B, that's just going to blow your mind. You guys ready? Get your popcorn. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Paul John. So you're not even going to believe it. So I was developing the brushes and everything was going along. And you guys know that the first company, remember, that we started with, that was the company that when COVID hit, they went out of business. I mean, no, Wavy. This is something that for those of us that kind of suffer, you're not going to be happy about. And I'm still trying to decide what to do about this. Okay. I got a spot. You know what? I might get a spot. Oh, I told myself, don't wear that to work. Oh, wait, we're getting raided. Okay, we have to wait. Wait, we have a raid. Hold on, we have to put this on pause for a second. And I got paint. I don't know what color paint this is. I didn't even have to put paint on my... Oh, I guess I do. Well, now, every time I wear one. Welcome. Sacred Demon, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for the raid, AT Roger. What do you do, and to what do we owe this auspicious occasion? I'm Captain Madlove. We were talking about I was telling a story about a thing, a really awful, no, I'm serious, a really awful thing that happened recently. But before that, we were painting skin. We get a double raid. Whoop, whoop. Double the rum. Everybody gets double the rum. Wave the freak flags, throw the panties. Oh, blowing holes in my ship. Okay, I think that, hold on. Oh, no, is that, wait, what is that? I found a loophole. To be able to follow people that I was not following. Oh, I'm following you. Well, see, I'm following you. Where have you been, AT Roger? Oh. All right. Okie doke then. Let's see. Kraken, thank you for the raid, my friend. And welcome aboard, all of you guys who came in with Kraken and with AT Roger. You get, oh, okay. They can have your rum. Okay. Well, you actually said, Commander Dante, that they can have your room. Commander Dante's cut off already. He hasn't even started the rum and he's got cut off. So what are you guys up to? Kraken, I know you were painting miniatures. AT Roger, were you in today? So you guys raided. Be sure to pop into my Discord and put your work in the Discord so I can shout you out on Friday. That's our big date night. And AT Roger, if you could also leave your information. I don't think you're in our database, my friend. Kraken, I'm pretty sure you are in our database. Damn your dyslexia. Who's streaking about the ship? Who? Lady B, are you streaking? Can I streak the ship? Lady B is going to streak on the ship. Meanwhile, we have a regular giant panty raid going on. Okay, excellent. So you guys shout, did we get shout outs?
No.
Oh, if you guys want to shout yourselves out, Dave, if you, I think Kraken's in the database. I don't know about AT Roger. You're going to need to shout yourself out, honey, because you're not in our database. Right? There we go. Lady B is streaking. These guys are raiding. Hey, it's a normal old pirate ship. Dante's having a few drinks, resisting the rum. There it goes. You guys, so you want to go give these guys a follow. Miniature painters. There you go. And if you have something you're working on, not only put it in the Love Gallery, Kraken and AT Roger, but please feel free to shout it out if you have pictures in the chat so we can take a look at it. We are building actually green skin tones. Like we've only done just this part here. We're building some green skin tones and getting the OSL on the face built up. We worked on the chest a little bit and the arm going all the way up. Fading the highlights away from the OSL. We're just about ready to get into the armor and the bones. Well, you know, Lady B, you need to come here to get some laughs, right? It's not. That's why she's running from him. It's not easy to be green. And we're going to break off her finger next with, okay, we're taking rid of this glove. All right, you guys, I am going to take a really quick bio. Don't drink all the rum while I'm gone. I will be right back, okay? Wait. So you won't see the camera. You won't see the camera. Not the point, Dave. What's Pornhub? Oh, no, I didn't say Pornhub. What are you talking about? What? Okay, I'm taking a bio. Dave. Yeah, I'll be right back. That is serious jingling going on there.
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna take a quick bio. And I gotta put another glove on. So this, I think that the lotion eats the gloves, but this freaking miniature is really pokey. And she keeps ripping my gloves. I'm going to get a more... Read. Okay. Dave, you read it to me. I have dyslexia. Read it to me, Dave. Tell me what it says. Okay. Yeah, Lady B, what's Pornhub? Tell us all what Pornhub is. Okay, I'm listening, Dave. I'm listening. Hold that thought, Dave. Gotta go to the bathroom. Bye. Be right back. Yeah, it's happening. You're in this spot. Eventually you'll be able to feel the weenie vibes on the back of your neck. Found out where the paint came from. I stuck my arm in it. There's paint all over my arm. And then I noticed that the paint right here was different than it was just a minute ago. And I was like, what the? And anyway, so that. Okay. So I want to tell you guys about the thing. because it really is important to it really is important to me. And I like I said, I'm really not sure what to think about this. Okay, so for everybody that was on board about the brushes, you know about the brushes, and then the company, right? Well, because if it would have been Lead Belcher, it would have been everywhere. This is magenta, a magenta of a sort. I really appreciate the raids, you guys, by the way. So super cool on the oh, and thank you very much for the follow, Pockmeister. Thank you very much for that follow. And for everybody who's out there that's not subscribed to the YouTube, please, please, please go to the YouTube, subscribe. It's free. We're working on our followership on the YouTube, because when you get to 1,000, then you get to build a community page, and I really want a community page. So then after that, we only have to get 4,000 hours of viewing on YouTube, and then we will actually be able to start monetizing on it, which is so cool. We follow Slanesh in this chat. Oh, well, so yeah, that is actually a really good Slanesh color for Slanesh skin, that particular magenta. Hold on. Femme Fatale Violet by Cuttlefish. Perfect. Mix this with a little bit of like the milk bottle. This is going to be beautiful Slanesh skin. Yes, for sure. So, so that company went out of business. All right, and we found another company. No, I had it. We got raided, and so now I'm telling you. Okay, so you remember. Thank you for the follow. Ooh, is that Hustle? Did I get it right? Is it Hustle? Did I get it? If I did, it would be the first one. It took me 2 years to learn this. Please tell me I got it right. Yeah. Okay. So, that company went out of business. Okay? Found another company, working with that company. I've been going through brushes here, and I've been testing these brushes for 4 months, I think. We got some samples. I started testing the brushes. Some worked, some didn't. They told me to keep testing and everything, back and forth with this person that was handling my, I don't know, almost 6 months, says Dave. It's almost 6. Well, see, I lost the last brush company in March, April, May, June, July, August. Let's see. So the last, because I remember that was in the last house that we lost them, and then we looked up the new one, and so I'd say we've been working with the new one since about March. All right, because March we've been here a year, right? Okay, so Dave's timeline's probably better than mine anyway. Okay. So the point is that, first of all, the first thing is that I'm not going to rush into a commitment, you guys, because I want the brush to be good for you, right? I want this set of brushes to be something that, you know, it is not. Dante, you insane. Okay, so I want it to be something that when I say, hey, yeah, this works, and, you know, it's a good price for what you get, and I'm representing something, so I want garbage. I'm not going to hurry. Now, you can't just get a brush and then in 5 minutes decide if it's really, really good, because how do you know how long it's going to last? Maybe it's good for that 5 minutes. Maybe it's good for 15 hours. So some brushes, 25 hours later, I was like, fuck that shit, right? And so I went through them all, and then finally I found a set of 4 to work with that were working. And so I was trying them in all the different areas. I've been using one of them regularly on all my work since then, right? So I could give them a good couple of months use. In the meantime, I had been dealing with this person, kind of going back and forth, and we were finally at the end stages, but I was not 100% happy. Out of those five, because there was that one, the ugly brush. Okay, so out of the 5 brushes that I had, I was not completely happy with 2 of them, and I felt like a little tweaking needed to be done. And I always procrastinate. I'm not a procrastinator at all, but I noticed that I didn't like to contact this company. When I contact this company, I have to deal with this one particular person. So I kind of acknowledged that. I got all of my ducks in a row, and I got all the brushes out. So I was really organized and bullet pointing everything and getting it all right. And I contacted them. But even though I got out what I wanted to get out, there was a thing, an important piece of the picture that involved you guys and me making these brushes for you guys. And and I know that, Dante, because I've dealt with so many, okay? But what I realized, you guys, was when I forgot about that important piece, it's a little backstory. It's about why with all these brushes out there, was I actually doing this? And I had a reason. I don't want to just create another brush, okay, you guys? Yes, it's another brush, but one of them's a technical brush. The other one's a technical brush. And then the other three are baseline brushes for a project I'm working on, which involves you guys. So I felt like the company needed to understand this thing. So I wrote it, and then I rewrote it, and then I wrote it again. Okay, so I trimmed it down, you guys, just to get to the point of a couple of paragraphs to tell them this. And then at the end of that, I also threw in there a couple of things I forgot to say that were important about the handles. Okay, so after doing that, and I had formulated this email, I mailed it out, and it dawned on me that the problem I was having, the majority of the problem was my fault. This is my thinking. This is my thinking, okay? So the person that I was dealing with for me to do business, I have some disorders, I have some handicaps, okay? And you guys know that. I don't talk about it a lot. I don't like to. Okay? It doesn't mean if somebody comes into chat, hello, Blade Mark, honey, and welcome. If somebody comes into chat and we need to talk about like some ways to make a thing better, and I happen to have been down that road, I'm not embarrassed about my disabilities or the spine thing or the handicaps. I'm not. It's not that. It's just that I don't feel like I need to tell people that any more than I need to walk into a room and go, hey, by the way, I wear size 7 panties. What? I'm not embarrassed about that. But I don't need to, I feel like, share that with everybody before I go into a transaction or a conversation. To tell them, by the way, I have these 5 or 6 disorders and these several handicaps. And it's not, oh my God. Paul John, that's not what you're supposed to take home out of this, okay? So, point being, I didn't feel like I needed to make that part of our conversation. But after sending the email, it dawned on me that that a lot of the problem was mine. I don't mean that. I mean, this person that I was dealing with was not working for me. This person that handles this department. I could not communicate with her. She had no patience for me. She would cut me off when I was talking, like halfway through a sentence. She continued to tell me that maybe I didn't like the brush because it was me. And I wanted to say, maybe I don't like the brush because I've been a painter my entire life. And I actually know what a good brush for anything I'm going to do is. I'll paint a wall. I could tell you what brush is good for what. I don't paint houses. Okay? I know these things because I know. And if I've sat there and I've used the thing for several months in a row for a particular application, and I have educated myself in that application, and I spend time with people that are published and award winners of the application, then why wouldn't I know that? But then it would be something like, oh, well, maybe it's just because it's a really good brush, but it just doesn't work for what you're doing. And I said, okay, but the point of this is that I'm trying to get this company to manufacture brushes for what I'm doing, like specially formulated, okay? And the conversations would be just really weird. Not only was she short-tempered and cut me off, but she would muffle the phone sometimes when she was talking to me, and then she would get upset with somebody in the background and bark at them and then come back to the conversation. She didn't listen. When I talked to her, she did not listen. It was not being received because she would come back to pick up the conversation, and it was disassociated from what was just being talked about. It was like chopped, like, I'm like, where did they get that from? You know, so I got to thinking that this was not going to be the best person for me to work with, and that I needed to step up. Hello, Sunray, honey. How are you, my Sunray? How are you, my sunflower sister? So hang tight so that I can finish telling everybody this, so we don't get off in left field. So I decided to call the company to request a different salesperson. Now, here's what I did not do. I did not research who owned the company, who was the vice president of the company. I am really happy to see you here, Sunflower. I really am. I'm so glad you dropped in. Sunflower kisses. Yeah. Right? Sunray, aren't you my sunflower sister? Oh, do I have the wrong person? I thought? Yeah, no, that's...
Sorry.
Okay, so I decided to call the company to ask the receptionist to put me through to a different salesperson. So here's my thought. It's my problem. I'm taking the responsibility of my disabilities and my disorders upon myself. Yes, exactly, Commander Dante, precisely. So I call, you're gonna, okay. Now it gets good. It gets really good. So I call the company, the receptionist answers, and I say to the receptionist, now mind you, I did not look at who owned the company and who was in charge of it, okay? So they're all family, as in like the president, the vice president, and then her. So she was married to one of them, or the brother or the sister, or the three top people all had the same last name. I didn't look at that. I called the company, and I think I'm going to take responsibility for myself. And I'm going to call them back, and I'm going to request a different person to work with, because this is a huge company, you guys. Okay? So they have to have more people than that there. So I get the receptionist, and apparently, who's standing right there when I call, I say to the receptionist, do not give me to her. Do not put this call through to her. I need to not speak to her. I need a different sales representative. Guess who picks up the phone? So now I have to be really ballsy. Right? And I'm like, okay, well, I can't help the fact that I have these problems. I can't help the fact, I mean, I have them. I've done the best I can do with everything I have that is my personal challenge, you guys. Everything I think that I can do to improve upon myself, I try to do. So it's not my fault. I'm not being an ass. It's just that these two people are not working well together. So I decide to tell her. And I very politely told her, well, hello there. Well, then I guess you and I are going to have this conversation. I was just going to slide over into another department, but I guess we need to talk about this. So I told her very nicely what I just told you guys. But I included the fact that, okay, all right, Foggy. Okay. I included the part where I told her that I thought that part of it, at that point in the beginning of the conversation, I did not even tell her all the stuff she did. I didn't point my finger at her at all. I told her I felt that it was me and that I had challenges, and that I knew that sometimes it wasn't gonna work and that I had handicaps. And so sometimes things can be triggered and then I'm not relating very well. I blamed it all on myself. And then, much like she was trying to tell me about the brush, she started to tell me about myself. So maybe the reason why that I didn't understand her and we couldn't make any movement forward was because she's from New York and they tend to be rather aggressive people. And I said, actually, I don't have a problem with aggressive people. Not at all. In fact, I'm known very frequently, people won't want to work with me because they say, oh, well, you're too intense. So I don't have a problem with that. It's not that. And then she goes, well, maybe it's just because I'm really direct and I just kind of say it like it is. And I said, no, actually, it's not that either. So she continued to do this until finally I said, look, the thing is that, and then I told her that, so I have to keep a trend of thought. And I have to do things in bullet points. And when we're doing business, I need her to be receiving my input about the brushes and understanding the project I'm trying to create. I'm going to be putting my name on it. And I told her that I had special needs and I was going to require a person maybe who had worked with autistic people before. And that I just basically, I did not feel like, because then she got really sharp with me. She's like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I said, well, I don't think that we can continue down this road if you and I are working together, because I really need somebody that understands my handicap and my challenges. And this was huge for me, you guys. So then, of course, it made me cry. And I told her, look, don't be upset about the crying. I'm just not used to being in a situation where I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to tell weird business people that I don't know about that shit, right? So, I told her, don't be offended about the little sniffle thing here. I'm just not used to having to admit to this. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just that I don't know you. You're not my friend. You're not my family. And I don't feel like I need to tell this to a salesperson to get a sale made. And I don't ever want special treatment for it. I decide when I need special treatment. Me. I decide when I'm not strong enough to open a door, or I can't stand up any longer, or I need a wheelchair at the airport. It's my decision. I get to decide that, okay? Now, that being said, she tells me, so that conversation came to an end. She goes, okay, I guess we'll just be sending you to giving you off to another salesperson. Someone will call you next week. And the whole week went by, and guess what I got in the mail? I got all of my sample brushes that I sent this company to match up to build brushes like them, and a letter that said blah blah blah. Basically, it just was like a sentence, and I hope whatever you do that everything works out for you. No shit. I have handicaps, disorders, you say disabilities. It's disabilities and disorders. And I need to work with somebody else, and they shut my ass down. Oh yeah, Iffy, I am not kidding you. Shut my ass down. As in just goodbye. And I don't even really know what to, I mean, Geek is like, well, we're obviously not doing business with them. So now, as if it wasn't crazy enough, Dave, with the last thing that happened with the brushes, there we have that. Nobody called. I don't, it's like Geek said, there's really nothing I can do about it because it's like it's her word against mine, but I feel like I might be one of a few people that actually has a steel spine. And if they're doing that to somebody like me, then they must be walking all over a whole nother shitload of people out there in the world. And I don't even know, you guys. I don't even know. But that happened because I decided to step up, and So I was told, Dante, by the doctor that if I was on the spectrum, it was very high functioning. That what they think the problem is the combination. So the mixture of the different things that I was handed that are mine, kind of create a thing of its own. And so I kind of have to work with each one a little bit independently, but then work on it as a whole. Right, Iffy? That's a very good point. That is a super silver lining. Thank you, Iffy. That is a very silver lining. You got a point. Because it's kind of like having children. I always tell people, you know, when the relationship gets to be really bad, that at least they found out before kids came along, because wow. Yep. Okay. Then that's the way we shall look at it. That's a good point. That's a good point. I guess I did. But I was blown away. I can remember when I lived in Hawaii and I got turned down for housing because they insisted that my service dog was, because there's no pets on their thing. And I went all the way to the top with that one. Oh yeah. I straightened some people out. But in this case, I think it's probably be more battle, as Geek says, more battle than the time and the stress that it was worth. But it really, really does genuinely just not, and it's not even because it happened to me. It's because I know that if that happened to me, when I came to somebody clear, like very concise about it. So this is what is going on. We need to change this. If they're going to shut me down, that means that they're shutting other people down and being mean to other people who just, oh, let's see. So Dante, you can okay, well then mine aren't exactly the same, but I have a couple of those combined with a couple of other very exciting things. And so, right? Iffy in a way, but Geek says that he doesn't know if it's worth the time and the energy that it would take. The sad part is that lets them continue to do that to other people. And I just, that makes me feel bad. But I think that Wavy and Iffy are right. It looks like maybe a bullet was dodged in that instance. So we'll do that. But I wanted to tell you guys because I was floored, like just floored. Oh, Lady B, yeah, I know. You just rip their head off and shit right down their neck, I bet. I do. I know. I'm just like, right? Especially Lady B, because I came to them and told them, look, I even took the blame. Like, this isn't your fault. This is me. I have these things and I can't. I'm not asking them to change their personality, right? Which is important in communication. Is it okay? Let's not. I'm not even asking her to improve her personality, right? I have these things. So how about you just give me to somebody that I told her if she had anybody that worked there that maybe had 6 kids, that'd be a good choice. If she had anybody that used to be a teacher or somebody that worked with special ed kids. I mean, I'm not being rude. It's just I take us, when it comes to teaching, I can teach. But when you teach me, there's a challenge right there. And you wonder, how did I learn so much? I will tell you, people that had the patience like I do. It's really sad. And you know what? Moving forward, I might handle things just a little bit differently, but it did upset me. I'm upset for what I think they might be doing to other people. I'm upset that just people sometimes, Yep. Nope. I'm with you. 100%. Oh yeah, Frog went over to the other channel. Right. Oh, really? Oh, Ishin. See? When I was in high school, I did the TA for those classes. So I think it really helped out actually with dealing with myself later in life. That I got to experience that. It was my whole life I've tried to challenge myself with getting out of my comfort zone, and so I became a TA for that class to push myself into getting out of my comfort zone. And then I ended up really liking it. I really, really liked it. Like, I learned so much about human beings. It was just incredible. Yeah, and but I learned through them, and you know how much I learned teaching them? Like, things that people couldn't teach me because I was not at the right level that I should have been. So I'm teaching to people that need to learn that, but they don't know it yet, right? And in teaching them, I learned it. So I ended up graduating, but I really believe that it was because I think part of the reason was because of well, actually I went back to school. I would have graduated, I should say. I decided to have a family and get out of school. So I went back though. I went back. Well, hello, Joystick. You're gorgeous, baby. I love your new hair color and all your smoky eyeliner. How are you doing, hot one? Yep, so do I. That is a fraction of what is going on, Ishan. So that a fraction. And a few other things that make for a very interesting stew over here, I'm just saying. Wow. See? Just blows my mind. So I just wanted to tell you guys that because I thought you would definitely have a little something to put in there. Speak of my sensei. Hello, Samini, my dear. How are you? It's so nice to see you in here. How are you doing? How are things going over there? We need to schedule some classes in for this coming week. Be sure to let me know what's open. Oh, Ishan, I listened to that for years. For years. You know, that's kind of been going around, Joystick Nick. That's been going around. I know several people in different areas that have had, because Geek and I both got it, and then some people in a neighboring state got it. I think that there's a thing just like circulating. Thank you, Dave. Did you shout yourself out, Dave? Did you shout yourself out? We actually were building some skin tones in green here, Samini. I was working here on the leather. Then I got sidetracked with a story I had to tell everybody. I will tell you later when we're together. Okay, I'll throw some slots at you for the coming week to see what we can come up with. All right, so back to this. We've got to get this kind of filled in the really dark shadow colors. Remember that this one is leaning against the tree, so we don't really need to get a whole lot of detail here. You're not going to be able to see in this recess because this branch is literally practically pressed right up against her arm. Hello, Violines. How are you? I am painting a Monument Hobbies model. It is called Ephrea. Quarterly, they come out with 2 new models. This is called The Hunt. This is the hunter that I am painting. And this is who he's hunting. Shout, Dave. Shout. Crazy man. It has. I don't even remember the last time you were in here, to be honest with you. We've done all kinds of things, I think, since I saw your name in chat. We've moved. Wait, hold on, guys. I gotta get that. There we go. there you are. October. Wow, that's, yep, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Or 10. What you been up to? You been like everybody else? Is it a lot of work? A lot of people have been telling me they've really had a lot of, you know, been back to work because, you know, COVID and all that. So I'm going to try to get this in here with a real dark shadow color, and then we'll come in and we'll touch that all up. Just to bring it up a little bit. So I kind of decided to go with sort of a leather and bone at the base there. Oh, excellent, Vile Needs. Well, that's really good to hear. You come back at a good time. Shouts back. Dave, you are such a brat. Don't know what I'm going to do with that guy. Right, I know, Joystick. You are? Oh, you are? Ah! Well, actually, we were just talking about big corporate there for a minute. Because you think they're going to fire you? So you're giving them a reason? Or you want them to fire you? Maybe that. Oh, okay. How's it going? Are you guys following Joystick Nick? I'm pretty sure we have his information in here. I mean, I want to say we do. Oh, hold on. I want to say we do. We've been friends for a minute. Thank goodness I don't have to babysit that friendship. I can appreciate that, Joystick. You know, that we're friends just because we're friends online. We don't have to, like, babysit it. You don't watch other people play video games. Oh, wait. Did I miss part of that sentence? Oh, I see. Okay, Vile Needs. I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, actually, so it, you know, it sort of depends with Joystick. Yeah, did you take a peek? Thank you for peeking anyway. You know, he's not always doing the same thing. It changes, but I get it. I actually have a very hard time with it myself, so I can really understand that. I mean, I will play a video game, but I really just can't watch somebody else play. I don't know why. That's just the way I is. How's your girl, Nick? Ah. Oh, that's kind of cool, Vile. I get it. Oh, you're doing special effects? Well, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Now we're going to get a little bit of a highlight color here. So here I'm going to go back again, you guys, when I was talking about like that weird, we're going to put like a highlight, a shadow highlight, okay? So it's just to bring out or enhance a little bit more a little area that's in the shadows. I just don't want it to be black. That's all. You know, I don't want it to be plain black. Or whatever my dark color is that I'm using. I mean, you guys know I don't really use like, you know, plain black. I guess every now and then I do. I can't really say that. But basically, coming in here and I'm gonna need a much smaller brush than that. Okay, so I use the brushes with a super fine tip that I have because we're gonna have to get in an area that's like really, I highly recommend liners. Like you guys get yourself some, you know, a couple of liners. You want the liners to maintain really fine points, and you do, when using a liner, because of what they're designed for, you do definitely need to have adequately thin paint. Ink is another option, but be careful with your ink because sometimes that can get away from you. So what I'm doing here is creating a shadow line with that. See how that works? Okay, and then I'm using like almost, this is cuttlefish, and this is black. It's gonna glaze because it's designed for glazing, but what we can do is we can come back and put another layer. Now when I really want to get wicked with this, I'll break out the ink, and I will break out that ink before it's over, and I'll show you guys with the ink. See, so right now I'm just kind of building that, and the ink I'm going to use is Payne's Gray, and the reason I'm going to use Payne's Gray is because it's cold. Now, I also pulled the dark lines. Hold on, I don't think that's in focus. Hang on, that's gonna get in the way of my face, you guys, but it's very small lines, so let's just do this for a second, okay? So I pulled those lines into the crevices on that. So it's not light, it's dark. That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear, Nick. Then we're going to take a little bit of the, one thing is a good idea when you're working with your paints, after you rinse your brush, if you pat it on a paper towel to get the excess moisture out of it, you won't end up with that moisture running down the hairs of the brush and blobbing on your project. I'm just going to take a tiny bit, and I'm going to come in here and just sort of kind of catch this edge here, just to get that little bit of those little bits of highlights worked in. Tiny right there. It's kind of a highlight in a shadow, so it's very delicate. It's not a lot, just a little. See, kind of where that OSL is going to catch a little bit of that. But then the other thing we need to do is get a real fine line right, super dark, like a purple, black, with a little green. I need more of the green. Hey Naz, hi Neko, how you doing, honey? Oh, thank you very much, Nick. We're working on it. Here's the other part. This is the guy that's hunting her. He's not done. We still have to build up some more. Oh, you're talking to Dave. Ah, well, okay. I thought you were talking to me. Oh, what are you working on, Dave? Hold on. I want to see. Oh, yeah, that. Oh, that is so amazing. Very nice, Dave. Very nice. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So over here, we need to mix this color, not with our liner. Just don't do that. Just don't even pay any attention to that. With your ugly brush. Ugly brush. Where is ugly brush? Huh. Oh, I must have put ugly brush back. Did I really? That's not ugly brush. Where is that darn thing with the nasty handle and everything? Wow, I guess I did. This is an ugly glue brush. An ugly gluey brush. Wow. Oh. Well, here's another one. You might have enough room for your paints, Dave. You might. Okay, I want to get that color. I kind of leave a little bit extra around the edges on the palette, you guys, when I mix it, and that helps me match the color. This way, when you're using your brush. Yeah. All right. Let me get in here and get this. This is tedious. This is a shadow on a small person. Okay. See how that came out? All right. Now I've got that area built. If I were to build like this area here, which will go much faster, notice how much bigger it is, I could quite literally jump in there and get those rib cages with the bone. I have about 30 more minutes because I was late. So that being said, let's see what I can do in that length of time. I'll tell you one thing, I definitely can paint quite significantly faster when I'm by myself in the studio, just to let you guys know. I'm actually not as slow a painter as you would think I was. But what I have learned is that I will probably have to start recording more of my painting. I don't know if I told you guys that are Patreons about the fact that we have to wait for the studio to get done. I hope you guys will be patient enough and hang around in the Patreon while we have mostly literary stuff happening at this time. My body, the spine, cannot take the posture of the area that the big computer is in order to be able to do video editing. My desk is not set up for it. So I hope you guys will hang around long enough and that it won't bore you to be in the Patreon and be supporting me. I truly appreciate the support. The new studio is going to be so much more comfortable, Dave. Oh my gosh, I am so excited about it. You have no idea. I'm just like, well, actually, you do have an idea, Dave, because you're doing it. So you do. You actually know exactly what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, that's what I just said. You do. That just kind of came out like, you know, like an instinct. Because you actually are going to have a studio that you are comfortable in when you are done over there. And like, we had our studio at the last place, but I never did get comfortable in it. It was never really built, like, you know, to spec for me. It was always since we started, it has been a kind of temporary thing, you know. In other words, this is here because the first place, of course, we were renting, so that was a situation where we built it in that house until we could get a place of our own. And then this house, we had to build this one, which is until, you know, we had to open the studio back up, right? So this one until we can get the permanent one built. So you are absolutely right. It is going to be amazing. It is going to be such a good feeling. The other thing too to keep an eye on, you guys, is sometimes some of these very, very thin brushes will develop tiny. What I do is I place them on a paper towel, I put my finger on it, and I pull it out from underneath my finger. They will develop tiny, very, very tiny little balls of dry paint on the tip. Okay? That drags the wrong direction when you're painting and gets in places you don't want it to get. Hold on just a minute. This one actually has a little stray hair. Ma'am, let me fix it. And so if you keep an eye on that, sometimes you'll find, why is that going off in left field when you don't want it to? And it may be because you have one of those. That's true, Dave. That's true. I didn't for a couple of weeks when I first moved into the house. And that is true. And I am extremely grateful for that, even though the cords piss me off and everything. But you are right. And that is an advantage. But if I get too comfortable in it, right? And that's part of the thing, is if I would have got too comfortable in this location, then the other location doesn't get done, right? Because it's like, you know, you get comfortable and it's like, oh, why bother? It's just too much hassle. Making real good use of the shadow that we've got mixed up here. Okay. Bring it back around to this side. This back side of hers is kind of up against the tree, so there will not be a really critical need to get it built up too much. But now you've basically, what I've done is kind of lay the groundwork. Notice a little bit of shadow, as long as we've got it here, right? Again, we're coming back into these little areas. We're hitting it with this little bit of this shadow, and we've got it nice and thin as we come around the side here. And then I got to get around the leather, down the shadow, along the strap, and coming right out of that corner. On this side, it's already starting to build really good. We just need her abs kind of put in there. Tiny, 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 tiny little lines. And you'll notice everything looks a little harsh right now, right? Gonna kind of get the shadow built there. We've already got it. Looks like I've already got a good start on our hand. Let's glaze that green on there right over that, and then I'm gonna have to kind of come into a little bit lighter green as we move around to the top here, right? Just like we did on the other arm. And we're gonna need a little shadow right here. That's her armor in these corners on that arm, right? We want to make sure that we hit in between the fingers with the real dark, real dark. So this is black and purple. Okay. And inside that hand, this hand is open. We probably won't be able to see too much in there. Okay, Dave. But I am gonna build her palm a little bit because it's a point of interest. She has the most beautiful little hands is why. So I'm gonna kind of work with the light play on this because I really like the hands. And I'm not gonna let them fade too far into the background by bringing the volume up a little bit on them. The other thing you can do to make colors blend is a little cross hatching, if you know how to do that. Going down to the lighter color. So I'm playing with this on her hand. But on this one, I'm not going to make it as light as the other one because in this case, it's a little lower. It's a little farther away from the light source. I hope you guys are in focus. Maybe on the fingers, just because I super duper duper want to play with that highlight. So Minnie, my dear, are you still there? there. Just kind of working these little areas here. They've got some pretty strong shadows in them, and I want to get it in there right. But at the same time, I don't want her arm to just disappear into the shadows here. So it's a very little bit of a tedious deal. I want to kind of keep that volume built there. All right, now what I'm going to do is we're going to knock this stomach out. This is my goal, is to knock this side of the stomach out right there. So let's come in there for that. Right, let's get a good focus for you guys. And here we go. You ready for this? Because we're going to get some of that bone tonight. Before I go to bed, got to get some of that bone. All right. We're going to mix the median, thin, we want to get a color in between these two, and then we want to go on to the shadow with it. Okay, just a little bit. You want to kind of cover that line. Where the two are divided. Oh, Lady B, thank you so much for popping in. Got a practically a technical Sunday going on here with this craziness. I really appreciate you popping in, girl. I am sorry about your drama, and I am so glad that it's worked out. Okay, now I'm going to this is not the highest highlight. Okay, this is a secondary highlight. I'm getting a little bit of that. Mind you, I'm moving towards the light with it so that when I pick up the brush, the highlight's gonna be, the bigger portion of the paint will be towards the light. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna pick up a few little areas. In this case, I'm gonna kind of move it like a triangle. So I'm not necessarily going straight, I'm moving down towards the triangle when I go there, and up towards the tip of the triangle here, and down when I hit this side. And what that's going to do is make that little point right at the triangle the brightest point. See how that worked? Okay. I'm going to come in for a little bit more of that. Lady B, take care of yourself, hon. Thank you so much for popping in. It's been a minute since I saw you, and I actually had kind of been wondering about you, girl. I'm glad to know you're okay out there, though. There's a place I don't actually know that you can see it because the leather's in the way. All right, so here we go. I got to get this little area here covered, and then we got to really go in for the deep shadows, like right behind her back there. We're going to get a little bit of that purple, a little bit of that green. We're going to mix that deep, deep shadow, a little more green. Should not be mixing with liner. Bad, Captain. And you're going to need a little black. And we're going to get in here and get a really dark shadow, because that is really practically unseen territory right there. And this is where her stomach comes around, so we kind of want to be getting that shadow real intense right there. Got to be careful the angle of your brush, because you don't want to be jamming the tip of your brush in recesses, okay? When you come up to the area you're going to get that's like that, you want to try to paint along the recess and then come in with your little strokes. Okay. Real good shadow build there. We'll come back to that at another time. In the meantime, we want to get one of those right along there, right along here. Real deep, deep shadow. A nice, fine, really fine line. Okay. Here. 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 All that line work, if you spend the time doing it, you're gonna be amazed at what happens when you do. It's going to make you very happy. Position the mini to suit your stroke. Don't try to position your stroke to suit the mini. With the exception of that upstroke, every once in a while you're gonna have to do that upstroke, and people, that is the way of it. The one where you contort the hand. Sometimes it's just gotta be done. Okay? There we go. Gonna give it a little wash. Pressure's taking a little toll here. We can get these built. There we go. So here we go. A little bit of that medium green right here, so we can bring that shadow down, because this is actually a top. This is like a secondary highlight. This is totally not your top highlight. But in some areas, it may be. That's something to consider. Sometimes what is a highlight in one area, because it's like closer to the light, is not going to be the same level of highlight in another area. So you might consider that to fade away from something. I'm making a much smaller area now. Just the tiniest little highlight there. So we got that skin. You'll notice up here, like down here, as you move down the body, right? How intense the highlights are here, but as we move down the body, the highlights get a little more subtle. Our shadows will get a little more deep. And what I'm gonna do before I close, just because I want you guys to see it, is I'm going to take I'm not gonna use this brush. I'm gonna use the ugly brush. I'm gonna mix a little bit of one of the bone tones over here, just so you guys get to see it. I'm going to get the base color between a shadow that I chose. There we go. I'm going to get the base color between the shadow that I chose. There'll be two, the darker, the lighter, and the highlight. Just to realize that the highlight will cover the mid-tone, the shadow will cover the mid-tone. So in reality, you could do it all with the middle color just to start with your, like blocking. Keeping in mind, really important, you don't want too much moisture on your brush. A brush with less throw is going to be good here, so shorter. The bristles are a little shorter. And we are not really going to worry about the levels or tones, because we'll be bringing those up and down later. I will paint all of the front bones with the lighter color and all of with this color here, and then I will paint all of the back part of the bone with this color here. And this way, this will give you kind of an idea of where we're going. Keeping in mind, you may get a little bit of this. Oh, did it? You may get a little bit of this in between. Don't stress yourself about it. You're gonna come back. Now, the other thing you can do is you can lay your brush sideways and do this. If you have the space, sometimes that helps you get a good first layer in. Also, if you're just trying to get some perspective on what you're doing, see if your volumes are right. You might want to save yourself a lot of time. Be careful that your brush doesn't overlap onto something else, because if it does, then you may end up with paint someplace you don't want it. But using the side of your brush is a technique that is a little overlooked, but it really does help, especially if you're starting out and you're just not really familiar, you and your brush. It just helps solve a lot of alignment problems. When you're going in an area that you can't get the brush at that exact angle, you can hold it at a different angle. So you're still holding it at its side, You just got to watch those bristles. They'll sneak up on you. Okay, now that's the darker color, and then we're going to go for the lighter color. And this way you guys are going to really be able to get some perspective on this. Geek, can you look for somebody to raid for me?
Yeah.
Sometimes if you've been away, you know, you're a little out of practice. Maybe you got the shakes. That side of the brush routine really helps with people that got the shakes. And the only reason I know that is because when I first started with my new medication regimen, I got the shakes from it. Originally, I thought it was because I drank too much coffee. There you go. Now we can even get into the lightest color of it all. And just kind of come in here and plump some of that right on there for you guys so you can see what that looks like. The other thing you can do is paint down things or up things that are variegated like this. So you could just come in here. Well, let's not use that much paint. Sorry, that was like really globby. I don't even know what's going on. So then you can just move up the lattice work on it like that. Don't glob it like that. Now, we're going to fix that globbing because I won't be able to sleep if the globbing is there. So, in the case you do that, let's just say you do. All right. Get our thin and go back in here, and we got to lay down some shadow work. There you go. This way you also know, mind you, come in there and put those shadows back in place. I'm gonna let that dry a little. Get out of here. And we can go up here. Oh, there's a gnat in my house. I don't like you, buddy. Well, I don't think this side will be this color, though. But for right now, I suppose that we're going somewhere with that. And there we are. I'm going to need a very, very fine brush to come in here and fine tune these guys. And lay back in. Intense shadow. There we go. Okay, so now you can really see, you get a better, thank you so much for that follow. You get a a much better idea kind of what's going on if we do this. So that you can start to see the volume. Thank you, Brown Thin. Brown Thing Browser. Brown Thing Browser. Thank you for the follow. I gotta sleep. Browsing browser. I thought it said Brownsing. It says BROWNSING. No?
It says browsing.
It does? It looks like it says Brownsing browser to me.
Yeah.
Brownsing browser. Why is it not Brownsing browser? That's like bouncing browser.
There's no N before the W.
Oh! Hello! I guess I got that name wrong. Oh, well. I'm a name slayer. I will admit to it. I am making a super, super deep brown over here. It's still too purple. I will get it. There we go. Ah, much better. So by coming in here and adding the brown variation shadow. Oh yes, it's shower 2 tonight. For bed. That was super good. That really made it make a lot of sense, I guess you could say, in the way of color. It just, I mean, to the human eye, at least to my eye. Okay, there. Now you get to see the volume. See what's happening there? We, of course, are quite a ways from the finishing line here. But I put some shadows in here on her face, and it's all going to start to make sense. I'll be able to look at her from a different perspective in the morning, which really helps me. All right. Who's out there to raid?
We got Thunderhead Studios, Two Dogs Going Brush, got the clubs, Always.
Soulways. All right, you guys. We are going to go see Soulways. You ready? I got the last little bit here. There. Okay. See where that focal point is. Good night, Wavy. Thank you so much for joining us. I made quite a distance on her. I have to take pictures now. Oh, itchy, itchy, itchy. Sorry, guys. Oh. Whoop. Being behind the glasses. All right, so I didn't get to the leather, but I did get to the bone, and all the skin around the bone is very, very close, with the exception, of course, of the OSL, which means we're gonna have to build just a little bit more on the highlights to get that, you know, to show through the way we want it to. But as you can see, it's coming along quite well. By focusing on her, you actually will be looking at her right now in the position that she is looking at the hunter. Hold on. The lights kind of bleed out the colors a little bit at my desk. Hopefully we will be able to correct that with the new area. But when I take the picture of her, I will make sure I take it in lighting where we don't have that, so you guys can really see the full effect. And I'll drop a gray background behind her so you get a better visual. All right, so that is it for this PJ Sunday, you guys. I want to thank everybody for coming in and joining me. We are going to go raid Soulways now. If you've not been there, that is the Master of Weathering, I think. I absolutely love his machine work, although I don't have time to stay today, you guys. The spine is getting me really good. I have got to take it too bad. I've got to take a shower, and then I've got to get my feet up is what I got to do. So I will tell you that we will be here again. This is Sunday. We'll be here again for Technical Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me, Dave. Thank you for modding. Wavy, thank you for showing up. Blade Mark, everybody out there that is regular, I really, truly appreciate it. So between now and, let's see, Tuesday, when we meet again, you guys remember self-care. Simini, I wanted to know what you thought of the volumes. I was asking if you were out there and what you thought about the volumes. I'm really working hard on using that. Thank you, Dave. All right, you guys. So remember self-care. If you do not care for yourself, you cannot care for anyone else. Okay? And between now and Tuesday when we meet again, brushes, paints, minis, get your fucking paint on. Let's go see Soulways with lots of awkward love. I love to embarrass Soulways.